Hello, Houston. This is a good-looking audience. Thank you. You're welcome. Not as much down here or over here, but some back there. I really think this is the best audience in the world, and one of the ways I know that is that Moulin Rouge is in the theater next door with a bunch of half-naked women, and you're all here to hear grown men talk about video games. Give yourselves a round of applause. As you guys know, my clicker doesn't work as well as it should, and I just spoiled the joke. We're here to talk about the best games of all time, or the most overrated games of all time. And Hodge made this beautiful artwork for us. Give Hodge a round of applause. Now, when I initially pitched him my idea, it did get rejected for being a little too over the top. And Colin threatened to fire me. So we changed it. And it was supposed to be all of Last Stand. As you guys know, Maddie's unable to make it. No one knows really why. There are a few theories. I have a couple of my own. It doesn't matter. No, Maddie's not able to make it. He wanted to let you guys know in case you weren't aware. Maddie had been having some inner ear irritation. Doctor told him it's not really safe for you to fly, so he chose to take his health. I applaud him for that. But he was disappointed with the news from the doctor, so we understand that for sure. I got some disappointing news from the doctor recently, too. He told me I'm fat. I have a new doctor now. So, you guys knew that you were coming for a show about video games. What you didn't know is that you were going to see the newest, hottest comic in the entire world. And no, I know, it's not me. It's not me. But this man, most people start their comedy career in like cellars and basements. And this man we thought was good enough to give him his first opportunity in front of a crowd of 500 people. So if you could help me welcome to the stage our favorite uncle, Dagan Moriarty.
Ben Smith, everybody. Houston! We're here, guys. We're here. It's so good to see you. Look at this. It's way too fancy for us. I'll speak for myself, but listen. Now, yeah, first time doing stand-up. Stand-up read off the page. Low quality, but Colin doesn't pay me enough to memorize things. So. But listen, if you just close your eyes, it's a podcast, right? Okay. So listen, my first time actually not only in Houston, but in Texas. It's really nice to be here, but I've got to say, been here for about a day and a half so far. Haven't seen a single horse, 10-gallon hat, not even one of those big white Cadillac convertibles with the steer horns on the front grill. It's bullshit. This is what I was expecting at all. It's the Wild West. So far, and I'm just being honest with you guys, this is New Jersey with a slightly smaller inferiority complex. That's what I feel like. A lot more video game nerds than I thought, though. Absolutely. Now, you guys, let's start at the beginning. You may not even realize this, but each one of you, lucky enough to be sitting here tonight, is helping to make history. I'm going to be, you guys don't know this yet, I'm going to be the next big thing in stand-up. And you guys are getting to witness my fledgling performance. I figure you guys are lucky dogs. I'm probably about 6, maybe 7 months out from my first Netflix special. So you guys are on the cutting edge with that. So, of course, as you guys know, flew out from Philly yesterday, and I've been sizing up the differences between Philly and Houston. Philly, the city of brotherly love. Yeah. Have you guys ever been to Philly? Anybody? love probably isn't the first way I would describe Philadelphia. I still feel like they were trying to be ironic with that slogan. Brotherly love. We're the city of brotherly love. That's good, Vinny. That's rich. Spoiler alert, for those who haven't been to Philly, they don't love you in Philly. They don't even want you in Philly, seriously. This is pretty much the attitude in Philly. Oh, you saw the Liberty Bell, you had your cheesesteak, now get the fuck out. It's enough already. That pretty much sums it up. They love exactly two things in Philadelphia, and I know this, I've been there a long time. The Eagles and anger. The Eagles and anger. Those are the two things. They love in Philly. And speaking of anime, what? Yeah, listen. I don't get paid enough for segues. Why are comedians so obsessed with segues anyway? Smoothly and seamlessly transitioning from one topic to the next. Craft, whatever. No, my whole thing is no segues at all. Just jump around from topic to topic as haphazardly as humanly possible. After a few minutes, if all goes to plan, you should feel completely lost. What is he even talking about? I figure 150 years of stand-up comedy, no comedian has ever done that, so it's probably an awesome idea, and it's worked just fine. It's gonna be fine. Don't worry, I got this. So anime. Now, we have any anime fans out here tonight? Yeah, I figured. It's been crazy as an old man to see anime ascend to these incredible heights of popularity. I mean, guys, we loved it in the 80s and 90s too, but we pretty much kept it to read the manga, watch the OVA, and that was that. You guys, today with your cosplay, I need to express my undying enthusiasm for this anime by donning this incredibly detailed costume and then wear it to gigantic fandom conventions with thousands of other cosplayers. We used to just like anime, but now apparently you have to be anime. It's wacky. We had exactly one cosplayer back when I was in art school. Let me tell you about this character. Picture it, boots, long black trench coat, tall, spiky mohawk, and he walked around the city with an actual sword strapped across his back. Not a toy sword, a real sword. I mean, actually, I don't think he was dressing up as anybody specific, as much as he was just an actual unhinged lunatic, possible serial killer. That was our cosplayer, but we all really liked anime and video games, so we called him Cloud. That was his name. Not to his face, of course, not to his face. And lo and behold, one night, I remember this very vividly, Cloud got beat up by some thugs seemingly without provocation, for no apparent reason. Well, okay, fine. The reason was they were annoyed that he was dressed up as a video game character. But, which ironically, he wasn't. He was just the honest-to-goodness, cyberpunk ninja version of Travis Bickle. Look. The moral of the story is that you cosplayers out there owe a debt of gratitude to your forefather, Cloud from Philadelphia, who spilled his very blood so you could walk around freely in busy urban environments with colorful hair, plastic weapons, and thigh-high boots. Jesus. Know your history. I guess what I'm also saying is, why does nobody beat up cosplayers anymore? Yeah, thank you. I miss being a kid. Hey, I already told you, no segues, keep up. You have one job. I remember being a kid though. Just unbridled creativity, right? We could make a brand new game out of any two random things. Hockey stick, soccer ball. Toy car, plastic bowling pins. Baseball bat, frog. Not me. Hey, not me. Don't get on my case. But you guys, Beavis and Butthead didn't invent frog baseball. No. That illustrious distinction goes to my childhood bully, circa 1981. Yep, talking about Corey Beneducci. Maybe he's out there tonight. That would be bad. This guy terrorized me as a kid. He's the same charming fellow that introduced me to tackle football. Oh, let me elaborate. Tackle football in the street. Yeah, true story. Yeah, my neighborhood growing up was like, it was weird. It was part Donna Reed, part Terror Dome, Little Lord of the Flies. It looked normal, but it was in reality terrifying, pretty dark. I remember the day they tried to recruit me into tackle street football. I'll never forget this. You know, and I was like, you could this meek little nerdy kid, and like, oh no, I'm all right, I'm good, gonna actually survive a little longer, if that sounds okay to you guys. I'll probably just go play Atari or something, you know, it's that type of thing. And, you know, Corey was also the guy, he played a big role in my life, this guy. He introduced me to my first real life, I call it movie punch. And not me, he didn't punch me, he punched this other poor soul, but you know that, like, I call it like a Roadhouse, the Roadhouse movie, like a punch where, you know, you got that sound effect, and like complete with like the face jiggling and the guy hitting the floor like a ton of bricks. It was always an education with Corey on the scene. My God, it was a dark education. And the other thing, this is the last thing, I'll go out with this, Corey taught me was, do you guys, anybody here know what a live goose sounds like when somebody runs up and punts it like a football? Yeah. It sounds like a kickball, that's right. Yeah. Corey taught me that too. He taught me that too. The last part. It's been fun actually doing this and putting this together for you guys. I've been unemployed for the last couple of months. That's been fun. My wife Helene's here tonight. She's probably tired of looking at me and rolling her eyes a lot. So, but it's actually kind of puts life in a different dimension when you have so much free time on your hands. I've been trying to be constructive and productive, help out a little more at home with chores and stuff like that. And you notice things that you don't normally have time to notice, and you kind of dwell on these things and you make these discoveries. I've been doing laundry lately. That's new for me. Just ask Helene. I don't do much laundry. Something really gross dawned on me. So I don't know if you guys ever thought about this. Put load of wash in the washing machine, comes out clean. Put it in the dryer to dry. Dryer lint. All this dirt and shit comes out of the. I thought that the laundry was clean. What the hell is dryer lint? I actually didn't Google it because I'm actually horrified. Like, why are the clothes still so dirty? I don't know. It's been crazy. But listen, I'm gonna make way for the show tonight. Thank you so much for coming. You guys absolutely rock. This is the reason, 2 weeks from now when I get really frustrated and I want to quit, I'll say, no way, I would never do that. But you guys are amazing. This is only my second fan event. I can't believe how wonderful you guys are in person to a person. I mean, everybody is so polite and respectful and delightful and happy, and you guys are the reason why we like the big bucks too. But you guys are mostly you guys are the reason why we do this, and we appreciate you so much. And thank you for coming, and thank you for traveling, and safe trip, and we love you guys. And I hope you have a wonderful show. And this is the highlight. It's gonna go a little down from here, but it's still, the rest of it's gonna be good. We go from excellent to pretty good, that's okay. That's a good trajectory, we'll take that. And thank you, and enjoy the night.
Let's keep it going for Dagan. First stand up. I was editing Knockback, and I heard him just say, like, he wanted to try some stand-up, and I texted him right then and said, you want to do some stand-up at the show? And he said, no. And I said, yes. And he goes, okay, how long do I have? real quick, I mentioned earlier you guys were a fantastic audience. Dagan said you were a fantastic audience. Do us a favor, keep being a fantastic audience. We've got photographers, videographers here. We'll share that all with you guys later, so you can keep your phones in your pockets and enjoy the show. Be mindful of those around you. Too much side chatter, all that kind of stuff. Just be good neighbors like we know you guys are. You guys know Lockport? Well, Lockport really wanted to come. They wouldn't let him. They said he was a terrorist or something. But he did send something for you.
Thanks for calling the Mira Mesa Home Depot.
I need help with a toilet question.
I'll connect you with someone who can.
Quantity Garden, can I help you?
Hey man, I have a toilet question about cleaning a toilet. Is that?
Yes.
Oh, I'm trying to get all this. It's a nasty toilet. I'm trying to clean it. Hyperoxia. Is that okay to put in the toilet?
My most overrated game of all time has to be Twin Breaker. The Sacred Symbols. What's it called?
The most overrated game of all time is clearly going to be whatever the hell Mr. Matty Plays has been working on.
Wanna hear about my RPG? Todd Howard's gonna be my fucking bitch. Okay, Matty. Sure.
You could spell for me? H-A?
H-A-B as in beyond.
Even though none of us know what's it about, we know that it's definitely going to be racist.
For cleaning up real hard stains and stuff. Do you see it? Have you heard of it? I mean, you haven't heard of Hyperoxia?
No.
When I think of overrated games, the first thing that comes to mind is Lily-Mo games.
Superpowers of baking.
Could have been Hyperoxia.
That game is Destiny. That's for nerds.
Twin Breaker.
I would have to genuinely go with Halo 2.
Mr. Matty Plays couldn't direct Traffic.
Loaded story.
Something out of MetaQuest.
Foveate these.
The shooting's horrible.
Witty food puns.
Terrible game design.
And then separately, my most overrated game of the year is whatever weeb shit Dustin is playing right now.
Hentai, tentacle, titty goblin.
Fire Emblem Colgate Edition.
They got this horrible voice actor named Keith David.
You gonna put out a Brick Breaker? Wait, what?
The writing is just so laborious. Like, I got past the refund window on Steam before I even got to play the fucking game.
They're actually going outside the studio to find a writer for their next game.
Whatever drivel that Cog is trying to peddle on his virtual headset of choice.
Think about the ego of putting yourself as the main character.
Just garbage games.
A story in a brick breaker? What type of person comes up with that? I'll tell you the type. Someone who hates women. A racist.
Fagin is lovely, and everything that he plays is probably lovely.
Colin Moriarty couldn't produce sperm.
Literally, all of these are garbage.
Oh, and I'm gonna need to know, are we considering Chris Ray Gun a Destiny dude or a Halo dude? Someone let me know about that. I'm gonna need you on IOP, Chris.
Hey guys, how are you? It's good to be here. Thanks for coming. Dagan already thanked you for that, so I'm not going to do it again. He also said that you're all great, so I'll just balance that off by saying you all suck. Thanks for being here. Thanks for having us in Texas. Wonderful state. I live in the South, but this is the South. Kind of. I know if some people get offended by that, it's not really the South, but it's a little more racist. It's a little, you get it. So today we gather, hundreds of us. We appreciate you. And one of the things we were telling our VIPs earlier, well, the first thing is that I am sweating so badly down here. Dude, it's February. Like, I thought I had, I guess I didn't even bring them out here. Like, I need to like dab my face. I feel like a southern dandy of some sort. But we appreciate you guys coming. We're gonna do the most overrated games of all time. And we're going to hear a lot from you guys and from these guys as well, of course. And we hope to, we'll have mics out there. Tell us what you want. We'll have a little back and forth for a few hours. And that's basically it. And Dave, congratulations on your stand-up again.
Thank you.
You should have brought out like the Andrew Dice Clay, Little Boy Blue. He needed the money. No, they didn't get that. They were around in 1989, I guess.
I know.
All right. So, hey, Ben, where are you? Where are you, Ben? Hey. Oh. Can I get some towels for my face?
I can do that for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm really like a whore in church right now. It's insane. So one of the fun things about this is that we don't know what the games are going to be. I mean, they know what the games are going to be. I know what my game is. But we don't know the order. We don't know what anyone's going to say. I was also curious what Matt. You think Matty just is faking it? I wondered that. We talked to him like a week or two ago on the, what was it, like last week or 2 weeks ago on about him not coming?
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, I'm skeptical about this. So I asked him for a doctor's note. So, I don't know, guys. What's going on in Houston? Why is it so fucking hot in February? It's horrifying. Yes. Winter was last, yeah, fair enough. Like, yeah, I know. You guys are getting a little hostile now. It's like you.
Turning on you.
They're like, we're in the bayou. I'm like, all right. Christ. I didn't know that, actually. I thought that was just a Louisiana thing, but is that offensive? I don't know. Did anyone come from out of state today? Thank you, because we're like really deep in Texas, so you gotta like really come down here. So we appreciate you guys coming. Anyone from out of the country? We met Canadians before, but is there anyone else? Just, yep, the Canadians from Toronto, the Toronto Blue Jays. Thank God no one else came from out of the country. We're gonna probably go to Europe later in the year. You think they're gonna like us? And I don't think so. Should I come out with the Don't Tread on Me flag? Oh man, I don't know if I can handle Europeans, to be honest. So it's good to be down here in Texas. I heard that, what is it, Whataburger, right? Is that your thing down here? Who loved it? Who loved it? You loved it? Yeah, okay, well, of course. Jesus Christ. We were talking to the guys. The guys here are really nice, by the way, that work here. They're really kind. Because there's like, in the back, there's like posters of real acts. It was like when we played the National in Richmond and 311 played the next week. And so there's like real posters and all of these kinds of things. They're very nice to us. And they were saying that there's some offense going on with Whataburger because it was bought by a northern company. Is that true? God, I don't know. Like this territorial, like local news shit. I don't keep up with it. And I heard you guys have In-N-Out down here. You know,
oh.
Why are you guys so angry today? Shit. It's hot. It's hot.
No.
It's how fucking hot does it get here later in the year? If it's like
He's gonna die.
I don't know.
He's not gonna make it. He's gonna die. He's a dead man.
I live in Richmond, and well, outside of Richmond, I live in the suburbs, and it's hot there, but yeah, I don't know if I can do it here. And it's like, you know, I'm very depressed, so my antidepressants are just washing out of me. Also, I haven't smoked weed in more than a day for the first time in like 3 years, so I'm thinking, which is interesting. I'm having thoughts. I'm having thoughts for the first time in a long time, and I'm really thinking about shit. Also, I got up to go to the bathroom, like pee like 5 times last night. And thank you.
Can we sell these?
Yeah, sure. This is probably not even gonna be enough. All right, I've talked enough. The show's over. All right, let me, it's all perfectly legal. Let me just dab my face. All right, so let's get into it, yeah? I don't know. So, like I said, I don't know who's going in what order. Were any of you in the Pennsylvania show? At the Pennsylvania show, the first one we did? You'll remember that when my name was called, Dagan came up, so I instructed him not to get confused. There's 2 Moriartys, not 1. And yeah, so I'm excited to see what people's games are. And by the way, if anyone chooses The Last of Us, or The Last of Us Part 2, they're fired. And on that note, let's begin. Yes? What do you think they were saying to each other?
I love it.
My man, let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. That's what we here for. I know what we here for. The most overrated game of all time. Starts off kind of interesting. Oh! John Madden, I need you to come to the front of the congregation. We gotta talk. We gotta talk, John Madden. So look, it started off like a love story. It started off young cog. There wasn't really any simulation football. I'm looking out there, and you had this amazing game. Look at that Genesis cartridge with the yellow tab. Significance, history. And people don't realize, first 11 versus 11, true simulation football, right? NFL represented first down plays. Cog was in heaven. And then the famous slogan, boom, it's in the game. It was magic for me. How could this end up the way we're gonna go tonight? And then, in the glory years, 04.
Pre-prison Vic.
Oh yeah. Listen, that was a Dark Souls boss. Vic was unstoppable. They had to come up with special defenses to stop it. If you had Vic, and on top of that, game of the year. Again, how could this go wrong? This is John Madden football. New foe has appeared. Things about to get tricky. NFL 2K5 is announced. Terrell Owens on the box. It's about to get tricky right now. Sega's coming aggressive, new champion. And then the feature set, just absolutely amazing. VIP system, memorizing your tendencies, the way you play, all these things. And it just seemed graphically superior. This thing's skipping all over the place. All right, here we go. And this is probably one of the key features what really scared Madden. It's when I knew Madden was in trouble. Chris Berman, the presentation, ESPN level fidelity, even voice during it. I mean, it was outstanding. And this was the killer. $20. Madden was, NFL 2K5 was $20. Madden, on the other hand, retail still at the same price, full price. So Sega was aggressive. They were coming for the title. This click is killing me, man. You're killing me, man. You're killing me right now, man. My whole presentation's getting killed, but it's all right. We're gonna get through this, y'all. We're gonna get through this. Yeah, it definitely got some lag. Okay. All right. So that $20 price point that we talked about, that was literally when EA developers said, we are in trouble. We scrambled. They had to drop the price just to bring it down, just to stay even. That's how much of an impact 2K had. All right, and then 2004, this is when it really changed. The game changed. Because at this point, now EA, they were in trouble. The sales were there, and then on top of that, they signed the deal with the NFL, making NFL Madden the only game in town to have the stadiums, the players, all of that. So at this point, they went for the juggler to get Sega out of there. And then the degradation starts. And my beloved Madden became nothing more than a glorified roster update. Couldn't tell the features back and forth. I mean, 1 minute they advance, they add a new feature 1 year, the next minute they take it away, and the mediocrity starts to happen. And then the curse. Y'all know about the curse? Soon as that person get announced on the cover of the box, you already knew they was in trouble. Season-ending injury, rape allegations or some other stuff, criminal activity. It was just bad. You know, it became, once that was this vaunted position by NFL players to become the cover art of the box, became, hey, you don't want that. Your whole season could change. This thing killing me. Ben, I'm gonna just tell you the present. Next slide. Let's try that. There we go. We're gonna do next slide. There we go. All right. So then you start to get the murmurs. You know, they're the only one in town, only one with the license. You know, people starting to say, hey, man, it's getting repetitive. It's getting lazy. They're not doing anything to innovate the space. And even 2K, which was their competitor at the time, they didn't have the players. Even though they had the better game, it was kind of generic. It was like the no name, no frills, you know, kind of version of football, and Madden still reigned. Next slide. All right. And then the fateful day. The legend, the OG, Madden passes away. EA at that point says, you know what? We heard you. We're gonna listen to all the feedback, all the negative stuff that you said that we didn't improve the game. We're gonna recommit to Madden. Next slide. And then the fateful day. Broken franchises, data lost. People are irate. This thing is completely busted. On the anniversary of John Madden's death, you made the worst Madden. You made the worst Madden. What is going on? Look at the feedback, player unrest. It's a disaster. When you have to come up with title updates for Madden, you're in trouble. Next slide. And this is when you know it's bad. When the players who desire to be part of the game are dragging your game publicly, saying, Madden, this is trash. This is the worst thing we've ever seen. Do not buy this game. The players, the NFL players who fight for the ratings, hey, I want a 90 speed, I should be better. No, y'all, this game is trash.
That Darius Slayton comment is awesome.
Oh, it's awesome. These are real players, y'all. Terrible. Next slide. But yet, despite all this, who's at the top of the MPD? Every month. The only license in town. Still sadly Madden. Next slide. So you're gonna say, Cobb, you just triggered. You just in your feelings. Next slide. No. Madden sucks. It continues to suck. They ruined my beloved game, and that's why it is the most overrated game of all time. John.
My favorite part of the presentation was the David Carr screenshot. It's a nice little, that was a nice little throwback for the Houston fans around here. They certainly remember that fiasco. I actually haven't bought Madden. We talk about it on the show sometimes. You know, I grew up a hockey fan and a baseball fan. And Madden on SNES taught me football, taught me the plays, taught me the positions, taught me all of it. And it was I wasn't a Jets fan really until late in high school. So it was something that got me into the game, and it was important to me too. And I love that you brought up that game was $20 because a lot of people don't remember that. And that was huge. And that is a legendary game. So I like that you chose that. But I don't think I played Madden in, I don't know, probably 2 generations at this point. Yeah, probably since PS3, I would say at this point. Yeah. Anyone agree with this? Anyone playing Madden out there? Someone must be playing Madden. The fucking game is selling millions of copies. Speaking of the Jets, I was hoping Aaron Rodgers was going to get signed by the time we were here. I was going to wear my Jets jersey, Aaron Rodgers. It's a little premature.
Cool.
Cog, I'm most concerned though about the clicker. What the hell is going on with that?
Yeah, that clicker's disaster.
Yeah, that's not good. Let's hear, Ben. Yeah. Can we go to the audience after every game? Is that okay? Or are we going to do it only at the end?
You're welcome to talk or whatever. And by the way, the thing I told Todd right before he started was, this clicker sucks.
Oh, okay. You did, but I didn't believe that it sucked that much. That's why. Okay. It was behaving at first.
All right.
Yeah, you're welcome to go to the audience.
Yeah, let's go to the audience. Does anyone have any? I can't see. You're all
I can't see you guys.
Let's go to you young man here. We have a microphone out there? Yeah.
Oh, right here.
Emily has it. I think. I can only see her silhouette. Yeah, it is you. Okay, good.
This is why I wore a hat.
Yeah, you're good right now.
This is Ben's wife, by the way. Woo!
Hi.
Let's hear from you. What's your name?
Tim.
Tim. Talk to me.
Yeah, well, my most overrated game has to be Battlefront 2.
Like the new one? Like the one from...
The new one. The new one, yeah.
No, I don't think so. No, that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Thank you for talking though. Anyone else? Yeah, let's go to you here. I see your hand. Yeah, you. Yeah. We can just hand it down, I guess, right?
We also have the balcony too.
Oh, the balcony. Jesus Christ, you guys.
Papa Furman's up there with the
mic.
we need.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, we'll
got
go
out.
We'll go up there.
I feel like we should have one of those like Catholic baskets.
Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah. With a microphone.
Now they're sending them around the church again, so they're doing that
here.
twice per thing now. All right, let's go.
So ESPN, was that the one with first-person football?
Yes.
What were they doing there?
Bro,
That's all.
Hey, it was innovative feature, something Madden wasn't doing. Changing the game. But yeah, they had a lot going on, especially the VIP, the first person. They were trying to really do new things in the space, very aggressive.
I was thinking of some of those third-party football games too that you mentioned. Like I remember All Pro Football.
That was them.
And that was like I think they had like Hall of Fame players.
Yeah,
right?
it was like the legends.
Yeah.
Like Jerry Rice, no Jerry. Yeah.
NFL Blitz, but that's licensed, right? Like, and what's interesting is like I do wonder if anyone's going to come in and snatch this away. EA really blundered, not only with Madden but with Star Wars and other things, and I think people are paying attention to that. And why would you like when you see? I know everyone calls me a fanboy, but you see things like MLB The Show, right? Which is like an incredibly impressive game year in and year out. And I used to love going into that studio. Those guys are so passionate. And what? Oh, go ahead. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Actually, what's weird about the Astros, Dagan and I were talking about this recently. This is a total aside. Well, yeah, they're cheating, hitting fucking garbage cans. But I still look at them as an NL team, and they're always going to be an NL team to me. The fact that they're in the AL is so weird. I still look at the standings, and I'm like, this is weird. Anyway, Cog, what can happen? Like, who could take this game, you think? Like, or not the game, but who can make a new football game? Because we need one. We need a new competitor, and I like that. They're opening things up with the VR games. They're opening up with the not simulation but arcade-style games, and I'm wondering if someone's going to come in and snatch that away from them.
The key would be like what's happening with MLB The Show. If I wonder if the NFL themselves say, you know what, even though Madden is as big as it is, if we have other players in the game with a license, that may generate more. I'm thinking about, but I know the MLB's done it, but I'm curious. The relationship EA has with the NFL seems so close that it might not change. That's my frustration with the situation.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I actually don't know.
I think it got extended.
I thought it got extended like a year or two ago. Yes, that comes out next year, which is
yes.
They're this year. Is it this year?
It's this year.
We're in 2023 now. Yes.
Yeah. Yes, it is. What year is it?
What year? Chris, talk to me about Madden.
Huh?
Talk to me about Madden.
Oh, Madden. What can I say? There's so much Derek Jeter, of course.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I like the choice. It's a surprising choice. I wasn't sure what to expect from you. You're such an OG with like you, me, and Dagan are the oldest, right? And so I knew we were gonna maybe pull back, but you went forward and pulled out a new game, and I like that. I think it's a good choice because it's not bad games necessarily.
Right.
Sure.
It's overrated.
Exactly.
Right. I have a question for you, Cog.
What's up?
So something that rang true for me is you were talking about how bad the game is. People continue to buy it. It's rebuying the same game. Also, it feels like that. And obviously, I'm no stranger to this. I'm a Nintendo fan. I'm willing to pay for the same thing over and over again. And but the question I have for you, Cog.
What's up?
Do you still buy Madden?
I do not. I stopped.
Oh.
What was the last year?
The last one was probably. It's over at least five to 10 years. It's been a minute. To be honest, you know what got me back was the reason why what inspired this was that Madden was in Game Pass, and then when he passed, I'm like, okay, this is a good opportunity for about it to see what has happened, what has changed. And as most of the Defining Duke listeners know, I went off on it. And I was just like, man, this is not it. This is really bad. Like it's so bad. 2K still updates their rosters to this day, and people with what's going on in recent rosters, and people still consider that the superior AI with offensive linemen, defensive linemen, reactions, linebacker. They still play 2K to this day.
I didn't know that they still updated the rosters.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing, actually.
Yeah.
It's a far cry from me reading the transactions in Newsday and updating it manually like I used to do. That was great.
It's a passionate base, but yeah, Madden, man. Stop.
Well, good choice. Cog, well done.
I love the idea of an independent.
Who's next?
Oh.
Oh. Did some people boo? That's not like a boo or two.
Dude, how rude.
Don't press that button.
Don't press the button. I have to. I gotta try. Don't believe. I have faith. Lightly tap it. Okay.
Feather it. You know what I'm talking about.
Very lightly. Okay, so the most overrated games of all time. That's why we're gathered here today to talk and discuss. And this was a big question in my mind. There's a lot of things that felt like obvious answers. There's things that maybe you could pull out and, maybe make a good argument for. But this really, confused me for a while. What was I going to choose? So September 4th, 2021. Does anybody happen to know what day that is? Butler. An Evening with Last Stand. And as you guys may remember, we were discussing the greatest games of all time, okay? It was one of the best days ever. Look at us here. Also, just by the way, this is at a ballroom in my downtown that we carried a stage up, and the fact that we're here right now is insane. Thanks to you guys. We appreciate it. So like I said, this could have been one of the greatest days ever. I mean, it was in some ways, but there was a big problem. There was an enemy nearby. A big enemy, and it's actually an enemy I made that very night. This motherfucker, Mr. Matty Plays. He thinks he's a big YouTube big star. He can come in and say, just absolutely outrageous things. Absolutely outrageous things. Okay, let's break it down real clear here for everybody in the audience. And some of you are to blame, because I know some of you were there. 76, Metacritic score. Toy Story 3.
What was that?
89 for Dark Souls, one of the greatest games of all time. Can I get a hell yeah on that? Dark Souls. Now, some of you are liars because at the end of the day, the vote happened. And Toy Story 3 is better than Dark Souls, according to the Last Stand audience. Yeah, give yourself a round of applause. You guys voted for Toy Story 3 over Dark Souls. Great job, guys. So I'm not bitter. But, so yeah, this guy here, he really changed the way I look at things. Really hurt me deeply that day. In fact, I really had to stop and think, and I was like, man, did I let down the audience of Dark Souls? One of my favorite series ever, Miyazaki, of course, a legend. Elden Ring, 97. One of the absolute best.
I don't even know where to begin.
And so I really needed to think deeply. I really had to think deeply. And I knew that when I came here, I needed to win tonight. But the thing is, to win, you gotta look deep inside, and sometimes you might not like what you see. And the truth is, I've been having these really weird thoughts lately. Thank you. And I've just been trying to figure out whether the answer is something I've always known. And that's why Kingdom Hearts is the most overrated game of all time. Hold on, I want to listen to the song. Enough of that.
Jesus Christ.
So,
you put music in these?
Yeah, I'll bet. If anyone needs to leave now after that shocking moment, it's okay, I won't judge. You need to come back though, of course. So, Kingdom Hearts, what's the problem? What's the many problems, right? We started with Kingdom Hearts. Hold on, we're getting to that. We started with Kingdom Hearts. Okay, fine. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories follows it up. And then, logically, of course, Kingdom Hearts 2. Fantastic. You know what Square says? How about a fraction? 358 over 2 days, because that makes sense. Let's just go with that. And you think, okay, well, maybe this is a one-off problem. Nope. How about Dream Drop, or 3D Dream Drop Distance? How about Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage, melody of memory, back cover, which apparently that symbol means key in the background. Does that make sense either? Nobody knows. Union Cross, Dark Road, 11.8. You know, we got fractions, we've got decimals. What's going on? It just keeps going. It doesn't stop. And Kingdom Hearts 4, of course, still on the way. There's still time for them to add, you know, like pie at the end, maybe, something like that. So, obviously Square knew that maybe they had a bit of a marketing problem. They put together this package, the story so far, very nice, right? Well, I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan, even though I'm presenting it, and I kind of think they're cowards. Because honestly, they could have named it Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 Remix, Rechain of Memories, 358 over 2 days, Final Mix, Birth by Sleep, Recoded, Dream Drop Distance, a fragmentary passage, back cover. And they didn't. They're cowards. They're cowards. Sora, our main protagonist here, likable guy. I don't know what's going on with the shoes. No idea. Also kind of an idiot, but that's what we love about him. He gets dumber as the series goes on, which is always kind of weird. So we have this other guy. Is this Sora? No. That's not Sora, that's Roxas. And that Sora's nobody. And don't ask me what that means. So then you say, well, is this guy Sora? No, that's Ventus. Some of you know. Some of you are like, yes, that is Ventus. Like it's something to be proud that you know this. Ventus. And who's that? No, that's Vanitas. So, no, yes, these are all different people in this franchise, okay? So you're starting to see a little bit of a problem with maybe a bit of consistency in the story and maybe a little bit confusing, maybe? So let's talk about this guy here. This is our main antagonist. His name is, of course, Ansem, Seeker of Darkness. So, yeah, he's your enemy in the first game, and then we get to Kingdom Hearts 2. And you think, oh man, is this guy the enemy? No, he just stole his name. So that's a different Ansem. All right, fair enough. Moving on, that's not your enemy. It's actually this guy, Master Xehanort, which, shout out, of course, to Leonard Nimoy, who did a fantastic job voicing Xehanort. And he's a little bit old, and so he needed, how about another identity here? So, and oh yeah, by the way, this is Ansem. He is Xehanort's Heartless. But we move along here, and actually, he stole this guy's body. His name's Terra Xehanort. Not to be confused, this is the real Terra, and he becomes Terra Xehanort, right? Okay, so far so good. Well, wow. He also has a nobody, which again, I'm not going to explain that because I don't understand. That's Xemnas.
Looks like Sephiroth.
What's that?
It looks like Sephiroth to me.
Yeah. He looks a little bit like Sephiroth.
Yeah, like a budget Sephiroth.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. So this is obviously a bit confusing for who your enemy is. We've got multiple versions of people. We've got body snatching for some reason at one point. It's really quite all over the place. But guys, you've been paying attention, right? You've been paying attention? Good. So you're going to easily be able to tell me who's this. If you know, don't say it. Who's this? Fuck you. That's Riku. Wait, though. Not to be confused with Riku Replica. Also a different person.
I hate this game.
I hate this game too. I hate it.
So, what am I doing? So what is Kingdom Hearts? That's always the question. You know, it's the name of the game. It should be able to be easily defined. In the first game, it's this door. Obviously a big question if it's a door of darkness or if it's a door of light, which also light and dark isn't really defined.
Watch your mouth.
Chris, you better watch it. I want to say real quick, I did not consent to learning this much about Kingdom Hearts.
So like I said, it's a door in this first game, and it suddenly becomes this cloud thing, I guess, in the city. And it's still not really, they have like a machine that like makes it in the sky. You know, like it's almost like the train tracks in Ohio. They just kind of blow it up and then, is it light, is it dark? I don't know.
Fair enough.
Fair enough.
Shout out for the East Palestine joke. I like
Shout out. Hey, that's practically home except for Ohio.
Yep.
Ooh, close though. So yeah, what is Kingdom Hearts? Nobody knows. So, okay, let's cover something really important here, is that you guys know me. I'm a Kingdom Hearts fan. There are many Kingdom Hearts fans, and that's because there are a lot of likable qualities about the game. You know, it's great gameplay, a lot of awesome RPG mechanics, and overall it has like this nice, cozy vibe. But it can be difficult to ignore the fact that you have multiple sets of characters that are basically just color swap with different hair that are totally different people, completely. And on top of that, in Kingdom Hearts 2, you basically have a lineup of anime school shooters as your enemies. I mean, come on.
Who's the guy with the guitar or the lute?
Don't ask. So there's a lot to consider. And here's the thing, don't even get me started with these kinky guys. Don't get me started. There's some kinky going on. Without a doubt, without a doubt. Oh yeah, did I mention Disney is involved? We have Cloud, of course, with Phil here, their buddies, and it just completely adds to this. I mean, look at Chris's face. This is the representation. Think of everything I've already said. Add Disney to the mix.
Oh.
We've got Sora, we've got Donald, we got Goofy, the trio. Again, Disney characters. But
What are they doing? They're hugging. They're embracing.
They're embracing. They're best friends.
That is a malignant image.
Yeah, well said.
We've got these three. They're Disney characters, as I've said. That's disturbing enough. But what if I told you that is also a duck and a dog are this man's friends? A duck and a dog. Oh, and by the way, they gave Mickey the school shooter outfit too. So that's cool. So am I a fake Kingdom Hearts fan, the one that is always championing and defending in some way? No. I'm a realistic Kingdom Hearts fan. Okay, I'm willing to acknowledge that this makes no sense, and that's why I love it. But I think that there's too many crazy people out there like me that like this, and that's why it's overrated. But here's the thing. It's okay to like things that are stupid. We gotta embrace that. Embrace things that are stupid.
They all like sacred symbols, so.
Yeah. Just like Last Stand Media.
Yeah, exactly. Great minds.
So, that's why Kingdom Hearts is the most overrated game of all time.
I'm scared. It's
What happened? What?
And that's it. Stand down, everybody.
Welcome.
Well done. Okay. Well done.
Yeah.
Very well done. You look like such a young boy in that picture from 2021, don't you?
Oh, I know, yeah.
You've really. Have you cut your hair at all since then?
I did get a little haircut like a week and a half ago.
Oh, okay.
It was very small. Holly was telling me on the ends getting all
fucking week and a half.
Oh, split ends.
Week and a half, 2 weeks ago, something like that.
What? You're beautiful. What do they do?
Thank you.
What about me? All right, let's go to the audience. I think they have something to say.
No.
What?
We can't allow this kind of cop-out. Just go straight to the audience.
What?
We need some Colin.
I want to know what you thought.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I want to know what you think.
Well, I fucking hate Kingdom Hearts, but the thing is that I've never played it, so I don't. But it is so. I am so put off by it. It is so weird. It was always weird from the very beginning because I loved it. Yeah, SquareSoft. That's how old it is. People have to remember it. Like it says SquareSoft up there. That means it's pre-Enix merger. That's how long we've been dealing with this. Square. Actually, we're to the point where Square has almost been with Enix as long as it wasn't, which is pretty crazy. And Kingdom Hearts is always a very dark and weird game to me. Always. And now PS2 was not a great place for RPGs in my opinion, JRPGs. PS1, of course. SNES, of course. PS2, I was starting to they were getting all polygonal and weird, and then they started pulling this shit. First Squaresoft did Final Fantasy X, an affront to humanity. Then they do this, Kingdom Hearts 1. Now, is Kingdom Hearts 2 on the list, or are we just talking about the first one? Or are we talking about all of it?
I've just defined this as Kingdom Hearts in general. There are no rules, baby.
Yeah, there are.
The franchise.
There are no rules.
You're wrong though that you didn't play it. We played it together.
Oh, that's right. The third one we did a Let's Play.
We played Kingdom Hearts 3 together for a Let's
Did we
Play.
play the demo, or did I actually buy it? Which was
there's no way we bought it. I didn't buy it.
Because I hate myself, but not that much. Even seeing it in the download list would drive me.
Yeah, it must have been a demo or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe I had it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
No, Kingston, my roommate had it, I think. And
yeah, that's right. It was.
And we logged into his account and stole it.
Stealing Kingdom Hearts is morally correct. All right, let's hear from the. Can we do it now? Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll allow it.
Is there anyone? We didn't go up top, so and I see Travis. Does anyone up there want to talk about? Oh, there's one right next to you there. Right next to your left. Yeah, there you go.
Oh no.
Oh yes.
Who is it?
God of War Ragnarok sucked ass.
Whoa!
It sucked ass. If I wanted to do axe throwing the whole fucking game, seriously, it was bad. It was really bad.
Why are we talking shit about God of War?
Lambda.
I don't
It's happening.
mind. I don't
It's
mind. But I kind of mind a little bit.
Fair enough.
All right, well that's fine.
Axe throwing.
Thank
I
you
like
for that.
the axe throwing personally.
God of War Ragnarok was fun. It was good. All right, next. Oh, let's go one more up there, Travis. I'm sorry, I can't.
That's all right.
I can't see.
It's okay. I can see you.
Thank you. You look like a Jesus-like figure to me, right?
Very golden.
We'll hear.
A little off-putting that he's so fucking high.
So I've never played Kingdom Hearts, and after the last 10 minutes, I'm certainly never going to ever play Kingdom Hearts.
Right, man.
But I was just wanting to know, Dustin, with Kingdom Hearts 4 coming out soon, what do you want? What do you expect? What do you hope to see?
You know, you mentioned Kingdom Hearts 4 now, and I realized that would have been a really easy thing to add because we've added photorealism in the next entry, which is just. What do I want from Kingdom Hearts 4? It needs to be radically different, I think. They've kind of done the same Disney World thing over and over again. And it seems like at this point they're gonna bring Star Wars into it, which I really didn't like the idea of. But here's the thing. We've suffered for a long time. And at this point, we just need to embrace it. Whatever happens with Kingdom Hearts. We are fans. We gotta be realistic fans. And so if it's Star Wars or Marvel or whatever, you've been here long enough, you might as well keep playing them.
See it through.
Fair enough. That's a great way to send a message.
Dustin, what if it's Jar Jar Binks?
Oh. Dude, imagine a conversation between Jar Jar Binks and Sora. He's like, Misa, Keyblade Master.
How about Jar Jar and yeah,
dude,
Jar Jar and anyone actually would be.
Hey there, Jar Jar. Yeah, bringing back Final Fantasy. I feel like they kind of are because it seems like they're bringing in the elements of Final Fantasy. Well, at the time, 13 was it Jito 13, the old 15, which he kind of is. Nomura is kind of sneaking in there, so maybe that'll be it.
God, I hate that we're even talking about this.
It really was.
All right, we have people down here.
It really was like psychic damage, like watching that, like hearing all that.
Yeah, we are here. Yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. So Kingdom Hearts has always been like one of my favorite games growing up. I used to always watch my brother play it, and it was just one of those like secondhand kind of games that I've just always loved. I've never followed the lore, of course. So when it came to showing my girlfriend Kingdom Hearts, I was like, we have to play this. She came to gaming a little bit later, so I was like, we have to play this. And man, have y'all gone back to play Kingdom Hearts 1 recently? Ooh. I lied earlier. I said my girlfriend. She's no longer my girlfriend.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Fair enough.
Square Enix. I almost said Squaresoft. Square Enix is so strange because they make like some of the greatest games, and then they make Kingdom Hearts and other things like that. You got like Dragon Quest. Final Fantasy 16 looks so good. Oh my god. we're excited about Dragon Quest 12, of course.
Oh, yes.
Octopath just came out, which is fun. So many things from Square Enix, and I hope they just delay Kingdom Hearts 4 indefinitely, forever. Does anyone else want to speak on Kingdom Hearts? Let's go down here if we can, to this gentleman. Thank you, Ellen. I'm sorry, I'm making you walk. You're getting your steps in. Stole that from Micah.
How's it going? So I went to my aunt's house in 2004, and my cousin's friend was showing him Kingdom Hearts for the first time, and he did not want to be alive in that moment. And I got an introduction to Kingdom Hearts where I got to see both sides of the dichotomy because his friend was a huge Kingdom Hearts fan, and that made me a Kingdom Hearts fan in that moment where I started playing those games in 2004, and I pre-ordered, and Kingdom Hearts 2 is one of the first games I ever pre-ordered. And the series has been a huge part of my life since. But I will never recommend the series to anybody because it's too complicated. And even when I try to, my girlfriend asked about it because I have a Kingdom Hearts 2 poster in my room, and I said, don't talk about that. Like, you don't need to know about that.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
In your room?
Yes.
I actually have a Resistance Retribution frame poster in my bedroom, so. You know the famous one with it's like Eiffel Tower and it's getting destroyed by the Chimera every shot? Pretty cool. And yes, of course. We don't have to even discuss that. Of course, the Chimera Rock. Anyone else want to talk about Kingdom Hearts before we? Yeah, we have. Actually, you can just choose whoever.
Somebody.
Oh, if you insist.
I want to pick the man who has a Kingdom Hearts tattoo. In the crowd, our friend Hodge.
How dare you?
I thought about you when I was making this presentation.
I know, you think about me a lot. I can't disagree with a single thing.
So you're a realistic Kingdom Hearts fan?
Oh, yes, but much like my life, I'm into a lot of nonsense, so I just, kind of accept that it's a nonsense game that I, get to kill Heartless with, Jack Skellington and Ariel from Little Mermaid for some reason. And so, much like being a fan of Last Stand, I'm a fan of weird shit. I don't know.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
And we have to acknowledge one thing, too, that I realized is that, the stand down joke of the whole company. I mean, the original time it was said was Chris was talking about Kingdom Hearts fans in his DMs. I said, Kingdom Hearts fan, stand down. So, I don't know, that's something to think about.
Didn't that come from the weird Donald Trump thing too, when he was stand by and stand down or whatever?
That's what I wanted to say in my head, but I couldn't think of it. If you watch the clip, it's stand out. I was very unconfident.
He was like, Proud Boy, stand by, stand down. He said that. That was verbatim what he said.
That apparently was the 6th or 7th time they recorded that video too, and they were just like, yeah, this is fun.
Oh, Christ.
All right, I've had enough of the Kingdom Hearts. So I was given a note here. Here's what the note says. Intermission is after Dustin. So drag it out if you want. Okay. So we got feedback from the last 2 shows that people got tired during the shows. I don't really blame you. So we're gonna have a brief intermission. Oh, I see the 311 shirt walking away over there. Yeah, I like that. Love you too. And so we're gonna have an intermission. I don't even know how long it is. 15-minute intermission. So get your. Do they have refreshments here? Yes. Okay. So get your refreshments. I have no idea what the fuck's going on. Get your refreshments, hang out, and we'll be back in 15 minutes. Rest up and recuperate. All right.
All right.
Hello.
Hello. We survived.
Had a slice of cold Domino's pizza. That was nice.
Oh, it's delicious.
A little bit of Coca-Cola.
Help as well.
Coca-Cola.
Star Pizza. I saw that actually. Is it good?
Yes. Yeah?
Or pizza outside of New York, it's good.
Oh, it's good. It's good pizza.
New Haven, South, North Jersey. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Should we just get right back into it or what? By the way, one important thing. When I ask you guys to speak about something, it's got to be about the game we're talking about. Because we can talk shit about God of War all you want, I love it.
Yeah.
But now is not the time. When we do the Q&A later, we can talk shit about God of War the whole time.
all the way. Yeah.
But not until then. All right, Ben?
Yes, sir.
Shall we begin? Again?
I think we shall.
I'm dying here. Hello. My name is Colin Moriarty, and this is the most overrated video game of all time. So for those of you that were in Pennsylvania when we did something like this for the, what was that, the greatest games of all time, right? And the feedback I got was maybe the presentation a little too academic. Too many words. And actually, I watched this dude. He was from Harvard. It was like a TED Talk, and he was talking about PowerPoint presentations specifically and like presenting things to people. And I was like, I did everything wrong. So let's begin. What I did last time is I went through the criteria and I wrote a novella. But this time, we're just going to go through the criteria. The game in question has to be truly and demonstrably bad, at least in my opinion, because if we're talking about the most overrated game of all time, it doesn't have to be bad, but when you're trying to squeeze from the critical reception of the game and how bad it actually is. And so I feel like it's important that the game in question has to be truly and demonstrably bad. Well, I feel Madden 23 is an interesting choice, great choice. Kingdom Hearts is a great choice. As much as I fucking hate Kingdom Hearts, I don't think that I would, that's just total bias, and I don't think that it's actually like the worst game of all time. All right, so an example, right? We're talking about the game in question has to be truly and demonstrably bad. As an example, Amy might be one of those games. It's not the choice, don't get confused. Not the choice. Amy, this fucking horrible game from PS3, that is a truly bad game. So this is the mind frame we're in, right? Truly bad game developed by Vector Cell. I think I was partially responsible for putting them out of business when I reviewed it at IGN. This was my thing at IGN. I wrote this. I'm not crazy about the way it's written because it says, I don't take bashing any game lightly. Obviously, people put hard work into making the game. Colin, pretty bad writing. But you know what? Look at the scores. Fucking awful. The only 2 I ever gave as a critic. I never even gave it 3. This was the worst game ever. So it's got to be a game like that. Second, the game in question can't be so bad it's good. This is important. Because there are games that are so bad, they're good. What's an example? Deadly Premonition is an example of a game that is so fucking bad that it's actually really good. And it's also important that we realize that, I mean, it had a re-release and a sequel, so probably not the best choice for this. And I like Deadly Premonition. And the critical consensus doesn't consider the game in question bad, even though it is. Remember who the most important critic is? Me. So the critical consensus doesn't consider the game bad, even though it is. So again, we're trying to find a score that does not fit in a major way with the product itself. And so a good example of this from me would be Prototype. Prototype sucks. It was a poor man's Infamous when it came out. It's still a poor man's Infamous. And for some reason, what did we give it? A 7.5 when I was at IGN? That wasn't me. So that's a good example. And of course, Prototype 2 is a sequel, so probably not a great choice. And this is an important part as well. It's a really important part. The game must come from a source not considered dubious, even though it is. And there can be only one publisher, and you know who it is. Now, but it's not what you think it is. Because you think it's Sonic, right? No. Sonic just sucks. Remember, I'll go back here. The game must come from a source not considered dubious, even though it is. There is no more dubious source in the games industry than Sega. And so what could it be? What could the game be? No. It's going to be... Crazy Taxi is like the broken clocks right twice a day thing with Sega. That's not it. Take me to Raytheon. Guys, I'm going to go old school with this one. Even older than Sonic. Dig, do you know what it is?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm going to teach you guys something. Okay? Because I know a lot of you are like, did actually someone say, what is that game? Right? Someone said that. Yeah, exactly. Altered Beast is let's go back to Sega, this wonderful company. Service games, right? Okay? Now, I have no idea how they survived this long. And what's funny is that Altered Beast, and Cog will know, What was the game that came with the first Genesis? This piece of shit. Before Sonic the Hedgehog came out in 1991, a little known fact is that Genesis was on the market for 2 years in the Mega Drive with this piece of shit as the bundled-in game. Altered Beast is the fucking biggest piece of shit, but it is also the most overrated game of all time, Essential Information. First released in 1988 in arcades and console, and it was originally bundled with the Sega, as we said. It is the slowest piece of shit game. It is 10 minutes long, literally 10 minutes long. No replay value, none. Nothing happens differently. Your sprite takes up a little bit of like Super Metroid, but Super Metroid obviously much better. Takes up like half the screen, and it spent half of its memory on Rise from Your Grave and all that kind of stuff. Sounds like it was recorded in a submarine. And is a game any more desperate to be Castlevania than Altered Beast? Probably not, but it will never be. Konami, even in their shittiest form, is better than Sega. And most of all, we've been forced into believing, especially old school gamers, there's something about this game. Oh, Altered Beast, I liked Altered Beast. Are you sure? Look at this. Now here's my favorite part, okay? They spoil the entire game.
That's true.
That's all of it. That's the entire game.
They really did.
Now, you guys know that like when I started the company in 2017, I was the only employee, so I edited everything, I did everything. I don't do that anymore. Now we have everyone else edit things, so I went back into Premiere. Haven't done that in a while, in Adobe Premiere. The only thing I ever edited in Adobe Premiere for some reason is our audio ads. And I just put together a 3-minute reel. I want to show you how fucking bad this is, so you can see for yourself, okay? So let's just play and see what happens. I just put together a little something. Okay. So there should be. Yeah,
Rise from your grave.
Please just watch it. Look at this. What the fuck is this? Where did those things come from? It makes me so angry that people like this game. All right, so now he's kicking a. Now you're a wolf. Now you're a wolf. Okay? Now at the end of every stage, this guy just comes.
Welcome to your doom.
And then he turns into a random thing. All right, so So what the hell is that? So you do all this shit. All right, so we get there. Now there's these little sides. Look at that. I don't know what the hell that is. Some broke Nosferatu kind of character. Little weird cutscenes in between. Another stage. Here we are again. Look at this fucking guy. He's wearing a vest. He's kicking the shit out of these things. Like, what is that move? Why did anyone think this was cool? Turns into a dragon. Guys, people were buying this game by the hundreds of thousands of copies.
Welcome to your doom.
You're fighting a watermelon. All right, so another little cutscene. By the way, the game is literally 10 minutes long, so I'm showing you about 30% of it, no joke. All right, so look at these. Tell me that's not the most phallic thing you've ever seen. Tell me that's not the most phallic fucking thing you've ever seen in your life. Look at that. And he kicks him right in the dick. Think about it. A bear. Now you're the altered beast of the bear. Okay? Literally showing you half of the game right now. Look at him. It's disturbing and it's fucked. And here he is again. Whatever this guy is. And by the way, look how long it takes for him to just do anything.
Welcome to your doom.
The last boss in the game is Bebop. From Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No one's gonna tell me that wasn't intentional. It was around the same time. And then that's the end. That's it. Now wait until you find out what you were fighting for. All right? Let me dab my head again. First of all, this is taking forever, right? I don't know what the hell is going on here. But let's be patient. Everyone was back in the day. All right. No. This is worse than the princess in the original Mario. It's unacceptable. It's fucked. I hate this game. In fact, I'm pausing it. I don't even want to show it to you anymore. We'll go back to this. So my friends, when I was trying to come together with this, I was like, what can I do? Sonic did come to mind, right? That's too predictable. It's too predictable. And I wanted to dunk on Sega, but I knew it had to be something else. Altered Beast is legitimately horrible. But people, when you go on it and you look at the reviews, I don't know if I actually put it in here. Did I? No, I guess I didn't. It has like a 5.5 or a 6 on Metacritic, and that is so generous. Listen, if you have a PS3 or an Xbox 360 at home, actually it might even be backwards, well, it would be backwards compatible on the new Xboxes. Go download this game because it's available. I fucking promise you. You will never hate a game more. You will never want to know why everyone thought this. Dude, they packed this in with the Genesis. Can you imagine? That's all I wanted to say. Let's go back here. Sega. I don't get it. I think the last Sega published game that I loved, Vanquish. That was in 2009, so it was 14 years ago, and it was a platinum game. Sega had nothing to do with it. So these poor sons of bitches. Now, they're coming back, right? They have the Yakuza games. What are those called now? Like a Dragon?
Like a Dragon.
Stupid. Why would you call it that? You have a name like Yakuza. And then you're like, what is the most generic nonsense that we can call this game? Oh yeah, let's call it Like a Dragon. That's great. Great stuff, guys. So we knew we had to take the piss out of Sega. We knew we had to take the piss out of Altered Beast. By we, I mean I. And yeah, fuck Altered Beast. That's it. Thank you. All right. Now let me damn myself a little bit here, Dig.
Spitzen.
What'd you think?
I did not see that coming.
I agree.
You kept it 16-bit.
I did.
16-bit in Butler, different console. 16-bit here in Houston. I really, like 95% of us, I thought it was going to be Big Z, Breath of the Wild. For sure.
So I just didn't feel comfortable doing that. I think I told the VIP session that that wasn't going to be the game because someone predicted it because I felt like it was important for me to have beaten the game. And I am definitely not beating Breath of the Wild. In fact, Altered Beast is and you'll know this, is a pretty hard game. It doesn't look like it, but it is. And I actually, the first time I beat it, and I beat it on PS3, I just like looked at a video walkthrough of it. Because it happens the same exact way every time.
Oh, it's so
every time. It's like playing Kung Fu, the IRM Kung Fu game on NES. Everyone just spawns in the same place, every time.
Yeah.
Dig, I want to talk to you about this, because your best friend PJ, who I'm looking forward to seeing at our sister Allie's wedding, I haven't seen him in years.
Yeah.
He was a big Sega kid.
Yes.
So you were subjected to this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to know what you think about this game, because we've talked about this game in the past and my virulent hatred of it.
Yeah.
But it's not the worst game of all time, because again, there are much worse games, I would say. But what do you think about it? Did this game always bother you too? I'm curious.
It's unbearably slow. Not only is it a kind of a mindless button masher, but it's just so slow. You know what occurred to me as you were giving your presentation? I was exposed to it even pre-PJ because I remember playing it on the demo floor in Macy's when it was the pack-in with the console because we didn't own a Genesis. And what occurred to me though was, you know what? This was the first arcade-like game in terms of graphics and audio.
Talk to him.
That was widespread, right, Cog? That were people. The Neo Geo was already doing it. Turbo Graphics would soon come along and do it, where it felt like a 16-bit, like appropriate arcade offering for your home. And they did it purely with graphics and audio, but the game is just unbearable to play. But it looked at the time it looked impressive, and that not only the graphic fidelity and the animation, it had come so far past 8-bit. But also the scale of the sprites. They tried to do it. They tried to make the whole presentation impressive, like an arcade game. But unfortunately, it was just a horrible slog to, it was pretty to watch for a couple of minutes. But yeah, playing it was just unbearable.
Cog, I feel like you have feelings right now.
Oh, I have feelings. Look, as a Sega kid, you did not tell any lies as far as the overratedness of the game, no question. It was the glorified tech demo. It was just, hey, we do sprites big, And remember, there was an arcade version first. But watching you go back through it, it's really bad. It's not good. Like, it's not a good game. And it's very short. And the selling was like, hey, 2 players, play with your buddy. Big sprites, big graphics, 16-bit graphics. 16. Now, remember the whole marketing was just everything's supposed to be bigger, but the game itself to its core is bad. There's no denying that. The last boss being a repeat every time, it's bad.
Yeah, it's strange. Like, I've said this about Super Metroid, and it's really contentious, but because it's a great game, but it's like sprites just got so big during the 16-bit era. I know when you look at like Mega Man 3, or then you look at Mega Man 7, and everything is just so much bigger on the SNES, right? And because we were still dealing in 4:3 aspect ratios instead of 16:9, there was just no place to go. So when I look at this game, like everyone's so big. There's nowhere to be on the screen. It's scrolling so slowly. But to the point about the arcade version is that like I was watching full footage on World of Long Plays, which is awesome on YouTube if you guys don't know that, of the arcade version and then the Genesis version or the Mega Drive version, and they are pretty identical. They did a pretty nice job of porting it. Yeah. It's very different than like when Ninja Gaiden went from the arcade to the NES. The NES version is way better, but they don't look alike. They don't even play alike. So now I heard some people. Why am I doing this? The lights aren't even on anymore. I can see. I'll just do it anyway. I heard some people say that they've never heard of this game. Who hadn't ever heard of Altered Beast?
Wow.
What?
Damn, I'm old.
I am very old.
Wow.
Does anyone have anything to say about it? I don't know. Does anyone? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Perfect.
I thought it looked pretty cool.
I didn't think there'd be any game that I would necessarily want to talk about this time, but I really would think it's important to clarify the difference between the arcade box and the port that they made to the Genesis.
Sure, talk.
This is the age of Sega does what, or Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
That's right.
And I think that was, Cog hit it on the head, a glorified tech demo. But thinking about the game designs at the time, when it was in an arcade box, it was of the vein of like the Golden Axes. That was a quarter muncher, and they just put it on the console. So if your criticism here is this is the most overrated console game, 100% agree. But I think it might be getting a little bit of a harsh judgment from what it was intended to be. And dude, those particles.
Yeah,
the particle system is amazing. I mean, that particle on the Genesis. Yeah, so that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah,
not really
enough.
a question.
That's fair.
Colin, I've connected the dots on something. I remember when I was helping test Hybrixia, there's a voice line, like a voice line kind of like that in the game. And I told Barry, I said, hey, I really like that. And then I talked about it you later, and you were like, we got to cut that. We got to get rid of it. It seems like there may be something deep-seated in there. Is it connected to this?
We did cut that, yeah.
No, I think it's still in the game.
Is it?
Is it in there?
Yeah.
I don't even know my own games.
Is it still in Ben? Ben does it.
Yeah.
He produced it.
Yeah.
Or, yeah. Right.
Well, yeah, it's not the tinniness or anything like that. Rise from Your Grave is for older gamers. I mean, that's famous. But it's, I also don't like VO in sprite-based games. In fact, I was talking to someone about, I wasn't consulting or anything. We were just talking to someone about their game, and they're making a 2D game, and they were talking about voice acting and the cost of it, $200,000 probably. And I was like, that's totally unnecessary. An unnecessary expense for a game like this. Chris, you said that you liked the way the game.
Well, I mean, I've seen a lot of games of that era, and I guess just looking at it doesn't look particularly bad in comparison to like Bubsy or something.
Yeah.
But like
made by Sony Bend. Bubsy.
Yeah, that's right.
3D anyway.
I always think that's such a gross fact. But yeah, no, I feel like I remember playing this on an arcade cabinet at some point and not thinking it was too terrible. But I never played it at home, like on a TV screen in the comfort of my living room or bedroom or whatever.
Yeah.
I can imagine that's a very different, like, what was he saying? Welcome to your...
Rise from Your Grave.
Rise from your grave.
Yeah.
I'm just...
Welcome to your doom.
Welcome to your doom.
Yeah.
And the game was probably like, 8 megabytes? And that was probably 2 megabytes or something like that. So serious, serious use of your space for those 2 voice lines.
Yeah.
But I don't know, there was so many options because I just didn't want to be too obvious and on the nose. I feel like a lot of people would have assumed Zelda or Sonic.
Right.
And that's why I wanted to do Sega, because I wanted to kind of trick everyone into thinking it was Sonic. It's too predictable, though. So I wanted to go old school, and I wanted to kind of compare and contrast. I hate on the Genesis all the time. It's actually a totally fine console. We didn't really own one until I actually owned it. I bought mine on eBay in the late 90s, and that's how I really started to mess around with it. But it's funny, because in Pennsylvania, we did the best games of all time, or the greatest games of all time, and I made the case for Super Mario World. as being the greatest game of all time, or at least one of them. And it's just so funny when you compare and contrast the bundled-in games between the two consoles, in my opinion. It's just like
Agreed.
You might have bought an SNES and never gotten a game better than the bundled-in game, even though there was many games on it. And so I'm always fascinated by that too. But I hope it at least taught you guys, for those many of you that raised your hands, that that maybe it taught you something. And for those that might have been in agreement, appreciate you. Thank you. Is there anything else we want to say about Altered Beast before we move on? Oh, okay, perfect. We have one up front. And is there anyone up there? No. Okay.
Well, there are a few.
Oh, there are a few. Okay.
All right, so I think Dustin over there hit it on the head. Quarter munchers, right? If you didn't live through the arcade days, that was what was so magical about this port. Was it's like I'm playing the arcade game in my house, you know? It's like the Forspoken thing, right? It's like so mind blowing.
That was actually good.
But when this came out in the arcades, it was the line. It was the stack of freaking quarters, you know, on the screen. It reminds me a lot of Dragon's Lair, which is an ass game.
Oh my god, I hate that fucking game.
Yeah, so I would put it up there. I think there's a whole genre of arcade games that were just made. I mean, it's no surprise it's 10 minutes, but you would have dumped hundreds of dollars at the arcade. And you were like, dude, you got to the bear? Like, I didn't even know the bear existed, you know? And so if you had to live through that, and this nostalgia's a bitch, right? We all know that. And you go back and you're like, this game is total ass. So
yeah, that's fair enough. I was 5 when Altered Beast came out, so
I'm surprised. I mean, I think did you ever play it in the arcade?
Probably not. I don't think
Yeah.
so. I don't really remember. The one advantage, and we talk about this on Knockback, is I have an older person's perspective because of my siblings being so much older than me and just imbuing those things in me and me being by far the youngest, and obviously a mistake. So I think, like, you know, a 6-year-old Colin is more like a 10-year-old Colin in some way, because, you know, Dagan gets Final Fantasy II in 1991 or 1992, and everyone goes to bed and on my door so I can sneak in and watch him play, and you know, at night and all those kinds of things. And that was kind of like my exposure to these things as I was younger. So. But like I said, thank the Lord we didn't have to deal with the Genesis.
Yeah, but I think that explains why it was so popular back in the day.
I think that makes sense, yeah.
And you brought up a good counterpoint, Kung Fu. Kung Fu coming to NES was, in my opinion, a really good port of the arcade.
I love that game. I flipped the score in Kung Fu on NES, which was awesome. That was like one of the only.
What was it, Mr. X?
Mr. X, yeah.
That was a bitch.
And the game gets, you just play it over and over again. Kung Fu was an IRAM game, if anyone wants to look at during the NES era when the box art would be like the pixel art. It wasn't like real box art yet. Kung Fu was like a blue and purple box art. IRAM is actually, they still exist.
Yeah, they're still around.
I love that game, and there was a sequel, but it wasn't as good. Kung Fu 2.
Yep.
So yeah, anyone up there want to talk about Altered Beast before we move on?
What do you think about it compared to Golden Axe, since it's the same game, same sprite?
I like Golden Axe actually. Golden Axe to me, especially there was 3 of them, right, on the Genesis?
Yeah.
Yeah. The third one, I remember the Kochers, our neighbors, had those games, and I liked the Golden Axe games, but I wouldn't really consider them the same. Golden Axe to me feels more like a brawler.
Same sprites.
Yeah. What do you mean, like identical sprites?
Yeah, like in the beginning when you see the little thing that you can ride around in Golden Axe.
Yeah.
It's in the very beginning of Altered Beast.
Sega. We're using assets even then.
Yeah, really.
My God, make a game, please. You can say the same thing about Xbox, right?
Slander. You out of pocket.
Wait, which came first then? Was it Altered Beast or Golden Axe?
First.
Altered Beast was first, definitely.
So there's something in Golden Axe that people like that's to thank Altered Beast for.
Fair enough.
Oh.
You fucking own me. Is there anyone else that wants to talk about Altered Beast before we move on? Oh, we have someone in the back here. Sorry, Emily.
You know what? Well, Emily's going back there too. You know, it's another good point you guys bring up. I love talking about Golden Axe because it is a better game. It's more progressed. You're not just on one level. You can move around the screen more. It's faster. But the thing is, I don't remember playing Altered Beast in the arcade, but I do remember playing Golden Axe and dropping like $5 worth of quarters at a time because it's a hard game.
Oh yeah.
And it's meant to munch quarters, right? So if I'm spending $5 a game, you know, I could go buy the $60 cart. It's an approximation in the arcade. Now I went to the arcade 10 or 12 times. It already paid for itself.
Yeah.
And you're playing a pretty close approximation to the arcade version. And that was the first. And just think of like the evolution from 8-bit. That was the thing. Was like visually and impressive, and audio-wise, it was super impressive. It was such a departure from what we were used to playing on the NES and the Master System, right? So.
Well, it's interesting too. Yeah, the Master System. I loved Afterburner and those games on the Master System. Some of those games were great, but it's interesting. Sega has this arcade heritage that Nintendo does not have. I mean, Nintendo games had arcade games like Donkey Kong and the original Mario and stuff like that. But at that late '80s, that mid to late '80s juncture, they weren't really doing that anymore. They really focus all on console games, original console game. You didn't see Mario in the arcade necessarily.
Right.
Like now, there were arcade games of NES games later. Like there was a Castlevania arcade game and all these like weird things, but they were bad. And so you got to give Sega that kind of credit for sure. I mean, of them trying to blast processing and all that weird shit that they were trying to do. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry we're holding you up here.
Oh yeah, no problem. So what's up, Cog? It's Don Otaku.
Oh, Don, what's up?
Yeah,
brother?
you already know.
My man. What's going on?
So I just wanted to let everyone know that Altered Beast was actually the game that turned me into a Nintendo fanboy.
Done.
So I have my Super Nintendo, playing my Super Mario World, greatest game of all time, you already know. And then I went to my cousin's house to play his Genesis for the first time. I played Altered Beast. He was hyping it up the whole time. Like, man, this is better than Mario. Like, when you turn into a wolf, it's crazy. And then you hear the voiceover, and I was so hype on the way there. I played the game for at least like 20 minutes, and then I just turned it off. I was like, I gave him the controller. I was like, I'm not playing this. Like, I literally, like, we had an argument that same day, and that's when I just went to the playground and I was like, it's Nintendo forever. Like, after that, it's never been Sega. The only thing keeping Sega afloat right now is RGG and Atlas. They can die besides that.
Yeah, that's a good point too. It's like, yeah, like Sega went and bought Atlas. That gave them a lot of legitimacy. It's smart, I guess, to do that. You know, I bust Microsoft's balls for going out and buying things, but I guess that's what you want to kind of do if you can't. Let's be honest, you can't make your own games. You got to go buy some people that can make it. Cog and I were having a beer talking about all this last night. Busting balls. All right, well, that was fun. Altered Beast. Hope that was informative.
Yes.
Let's go to the next one, Ben.
Oh, brothers. Let's go.
I hope I remember it by then.
What's up, family? Oh, hold on. All right.
The notes in the lectern, I like that. Very presidential.
All right, let's start here. How many millennials do we have here tonight? A lot. Oh man. I'm so dead. Well, this one's for all you guys. All right, Ben, how do I progress?
Right arrow.
Right arrow, okay.
Be careful. Be careful.
Definitely non-millennial.
Okay.
No, right arrow. Here.
Oh, this one.
What were you saying about millennials?
Yeah.
Be careful. Be careful, y'all.
That's right. Yeah, that's good. That's the first one. Okay. I kind of wanted to use the haunted, possessed remote. I kind of wanted to crack at that thing. All right. That's all right. Next time. All right, you guys, here we go. Don't worry, it's not written in rhyme. Yes, it is. Oh, yes, it is. Now, it didn't age well. We all know that it's dated, but I'm here to tell you it's always been overrated.
What is that?
In fact, let's go back to the 90s. Come with me on this tour as we ruthlessly pick on Super Mario 64.
We coming for blood.
That's insane.
Contentious.
I know. It's going to be a contentious
Gonna
one.
be contentious.
I understand. Ask me in the Q&A later. We'll go over some postscript stuff. This was an interesting adventure. Mario in 2D was going so well. And Big N rarely failed us, so come on, what the hell? Each Mario before this, an ingenious invention. Did our mighty plumber really need this extra dimension?
Jesus Christ. Oh my God. It's fucking horrifying.
That's awesome.
Right from the start, it's a chunky affair. Polygons and sharp edges jutting out everywhere. Everything is so pointy. Did the modelers try? I mean, somebody's bound to put out their eye. Miyamoto, I love you, and I'm sorry for the knocks, but I've seen more organic worlds made from Lego blocks. Unsightly versions of Goomba and Boo, and my God, poor Bowser, what happened to you? Jesus Christ. And my apologies for all the artistic lectures, but don't get me started on these heinous textures. The crappy mapping and patterns, I don't mean to curse, but as an art student back then, there's no way I'd do worse. Were the designers all high on a mushroom bender? Is the game stuck in beta? Did they forget to hit render? But Dagan, you say, what about how it plays? After all, our hero can move in so many cool ways. Meh, run, duck, and jump was enough. So word to the wise, Mario could somersault to his violent demise. And collect all the stars, so boring and droll. I'd rather triple jump into a fiery hole. Seriously. I seriously would. Oversized creatures with polygonal faces challenge us to countless monotonous races. Look, another hideous foe with a vacuous gaze. Let me guess, I need to beat you to the end of this maze. And the tiresome swimming parts can't get a pass. Even the ground pound's a pain in the ass.
Oof, that's pornographic.
That's pretty tough. That's tough.
Yeah, leave that up for a minute. YouTube's gonna love that.
Falling off narrow platforms, the camera's a miss. No amount of gold coins is worth torture like this. One of the greats of all time, please don't be a joker. This game is legendarily mediocre. A mere good game at best. Higher praise would be crazy. He's kind of crazy. I like this guy. I'd give 64 reasons, but hey, I'm super lazy. Lots of lows for poor Mario.
Hell yeah.
Not a whole lot of highs. Is my argument worthy of a star in your eyes? People love this game deeply, and I was a bit rough. But if I made just a few millennials cry tonight, to be honest, that's reward enough.
Well done. We are indeed brothers, huh? Definitely the secret weapon. I love that you picked this because this is a game I've beaten up for so long. I didn't know you actually felt the same way about it. So it's good to know. Talk to me.
You know what? Colin knows, I'm helping to write Pat Contry, if you guys know Pat, big retro YouTube guy. He's doing his third book, his N64 guidebook, and I'm writing for the book. I didn't get to do, I tend to review the super bad titles. I didn't review Mario 64, but I had everything on emulator, so I was able to play. I really wanted to do this. Part of it was channeling 1996 Dagan. And I have to say, this game is pretty damn charming. I was like, oh shit, did I pick the wrong game? Because it really is fun to play. But I remember in 96, I was an animation student, and of course I was a 2D animator. In the advent of 3D taking over not only television and movies with Pixar and the like, but also gaming was switching from 2D to 3D. And just from a career standpoint and everything I loved growing up, it was changing, and I think we were threatened by that. So this game, and going back, I was like, wow, did I make a bad choice? Can I even say enough bad things about it? So a lot of it is humorously just channeling my early 20s self. But I have to say, a little peek behind the curtain for you guys. The other two games I wanted to do are both fighting games, and I did a fighting game for best video game of all time in Pittsburgh.
So Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat was one, and the game franchise that I really hate, and I'm not going to make any more friends, I'm going to make even more enemies when I admit this, is the Smash Brothers franchise.
Oh!
Yeah, I hate it.
Stand down. Stand down.
Why don't you like Smash?
I think, now in all fairness, for me with Smash, it could be not understanding it. Like I come from, like Cog, I come from a very traditional Capcom fighter where it's half button and rotation combos and stuff like that. And I always felt like the Smash franchise, no game in particular, just the entire thing was a button mashing affair. So I think part of it is just it could be me not getting it, but I always tried to get into it because I love Nintendo and it's a Nintendo character fighting game. And I always got so frustrated because I just didn't care for it.
Sounds like a skill issue.
It could be.
Fair enough. I was never very good at Smash either. I like Smash. I like the premise of Smash Brothers. I always used to just get frustrated because I was so bad at it.
I'm terrible at it.
It's very hard. Yeah. Like I was roommates with like a bunch of people who were like really, really good at it, and they'd be like, "Let's play." And it's like, no, you're just you're gonna ravage me, and then I'm gonna feel like a piece of shit, and I'm gonna go to sleep and cry. And then like I think I had to be, I was like thrown through the gauntlet for Smash. So like I had to learn with like people who were like really, really good, and now I'm like actually pretty good at it. But it's hard. It's rough because the only people who want to play Smash with you are people who are gross, good at it.
Super good.
Like it's horrible. It's a horrible experience. No good onboarding for Smash.
My problem with Smash, it wasn't my problem really, but it's like, especially with Smash on GameCube and then on Wii, and the newer one I haven't even messed with, but is I would insist on playing with the characters I just liked. So I was like, I'm playing as the Ice Climber.
Right.
Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm playing as the Ice Climber. And then King Day-to-Day, or DDD in the American version.
Yeah.
The only reason I call him Day-to-Day is because at IGN we imported the Wii version of it so we could write the guide for it ahead of time, and so it's like Day-to-Day, and so I always was like, all right, that's his name, I guess, and then it's because I never heard it said before. You play the Kirby games, and I was like, I don't know what DDD, and that's actually what it is, but not in Japan. Okay, Cog, what are you thinking about this Mario 64? Because I'm with Dagan. Dagan and I were both first of all, I was a huge Nintendo fanboy at this point, but I didn't, and we got the N64 quickly, but PS1 just stole my heart, and N64, I said this recently, I might have even said it on Sacred, I think that N64 might have fewer than a dozen great games, like truly great games on it. And I don't know that Mario 64 in my opinion is one of them either, so I'm curious what you think.
I think for me it was more about the 3D space. The analog was the big sell for me. Look at how you can tilt, look how you can move, right? So if looking back at it, I don't think the game holds up to other Mario games. It was just so much feature heavy what they were doing. It was transformative in the space from 2D to 3D. Mm-hmm. That was really the sell, but yeah, you went in, bro. You went in, but
I mean, I would say too that like, if you've watched speedruns of that game, Mario 64 controls really, really well. Compared to like a lot, that was like the dawn of 3D. So a lot of games around that time really control horrendously.
Yeah. Bubsy.
And in Bubsy, Blasto. I don't know. There's like a bunch of like really, even games that are like people really hold to high esteem don't really like you go back and it's like this doesn't hold up quite as well. But like Mario is so fluid, even in that first game, it's crazy. Like people backflipping off of like clouds and shit. It's nuts. So you're crazy.
Yeah. Well, the control is really
Yeah, with
nuanced.
the control.
It's true. The control is amazing, and it was a bold decision for Nintendo to take a step back graphically to be able to do a game. You know, it was a brand new space. The technology was brand new. They were still adapting to it. So the fact that they could make a game that was so fun to play, even though even back then it really didn't look good, but we accepted it because we knew the technology was primitive and that it was going to evolve. And it is the template for all the amazing Mario Galaxy and all the things that we love. Odyssey, if
Galaxy's
it's a cup of tea, it's not mine.
Galaxy is so
They're so good. And this set the tone for all that stuff to come. But, and again, like even playing the game, I was like, oh man, can I be so hard on this game? Because it really is fun. It's so fun. But also, I hate the N64 controller to this day.
It was. I remember when we bought it, I was like, I didn't know how to hold it.
The batarang.
Yeah, like I was like, all right, so you hold it like this, and like, you know, and then I'm like, you get the, and then it's like, no, you see the commercials and stuff, and then they're like, I'm like, what? You know, and then I just couldn't wrap my mind around it. It worked with some games very well, but and I love Sunshine. Like that's my favorite Mario game.
Yeah, too. Me too.
Good game.
But Galaxy was so good, and Galaxy 2. Excellent game. But yeah, you're right, Dig, about the Mario 64 is, in my opinion, objectively ugly, and I always felt like that. The early 3D games are just not good. You know, not looking. Some of them are good to play. I mean, when Siphon Filter came out recently on PlayStation Plus, it's like, ooh man.
Yeah.
And that's a little older and on more powerful hardware. So it's interesting. I'm sure many a person has something to say about this. So let's talk. Let's go to you. You can hear a pin drop in here right now.
Yeah.
Tension is palpable.
Suspense.
Thick.
I think this might be the first time I've ever talked into a microphone. First things first, Chris, I understand why. I wish you would have wore a turtleneck.
Huh?
I wish you would have wore a turtleneck.
Oh yeah. I packed it.
I understand why though.
I packed it. It's in my room. I was like, it's hot.
It really is.
It's warm.
Dagan, I'm glad somebody said it. I fucking hate this game. And Colin, I also think Super Mario Sunshine is the best 3D Mario.
I do too. I loved it.
Based.
Shout out to the GameCube. What a machine, huh?
I don't understand why it got so much hate.
Me neither.
And this one gets so much love. I mean, coming from the first Mario game I ever played was Super Mario World. Banger. Great game. The second one I played, 64. I hated it. And then I played Sunshine, and I loved it, and everyone shits on it.
Yeah. The camera is, I think, a little loose in Sunshine. I think some people have a problem with that, but it might also be, it really might be the nostalgia thing we were talking about before, where I just didn't know how to play. You know, like when we made that jump in the mid-90s, it's like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to even do. I mean, I remember when the DualShock came out even, I think we played Metal Gear Solid with that first. And I think that was what it was, right? And then, and it's like, you don't use two sticks? It's the barrier to getting people into games today, which is a problem, you know? Is your mic busted?
Yeah, I think it busted that. I gave it a backup. But no, it's like once the control got more complex, even though it gave us more freedom to do things, it alienated people who wanted to just try things that were not hardcore gamers. They were intimidated looking at it, right? So I think that's pretty much where that kind of separation may have started.
Yeah, in some sense, I like respect people who jumped all in, because like I got the N64 because it was like, well, you feel like you have to, you know. But I was like desperate for things to play, and I loved the Zelda games on there, but they were a little more refined, and I don't know, man. The N64 is a weird machine. I really, really feel it's got like a weird energy to it. It always did. It's got a weird catalog of games.
Best wrestling games though. Best wrestling games though.
Yeah, wrestling games are really
okay. Yeah, that's.
And there were some random things on there like who knows. Who knows what Sucker Punch's first game was?
Rocket.
That's right. It's an N64 game.
Oh wow.
And yeah, so like there's some weird companies on there too. But let's talk to the audience again. Emily, you pick someone. I mean, just do whatever you want. Just go ahead. Yeah, there you go.
Convenient.
Path of least resistance. I appreciate that. Defining Duke shirt, very nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
I got my Mario hat on, so.
Excellent. Love it. A little confused, but.
I'm looking at you, Dagan. First of all, what gives you the right, Dagan? How dare you? I know, but seriously, like that game at the time blew my mind. I was just a young kid, like 10 or something at the time. Played Super Mario World, Mario 3, but jumping into that 3D space was, I can't really explain like what it was for me as a kid, like seeing 2D going into 3D, and Mario, like the way it controlled, as Chris pointed out, it was incredible. And I totally agree with the way the games look now are just awful. I can't play any of these N64 games anymore. They run like shit. But yeah, I just wanted to ask, what gives you the right?
I know, and my old age is showing. This is such a generational argument, which I think is so fun. And you know what? It dawns on me too. Like Colin was pretty young when the N64 came out, but maybe past the childhood wonder stage of video games where he was getting a little more sophisticated. I will say, the more I think about it, I love the moxie of Nintendo to say, and Miyamoto and family to say like, look, we're gonna make a Mario game that's gonna change everything, and it's gonna be so fun to play and such a departure control-wise that it doesn't matter if it looks like shit. We know that this game is gonna be fun and it's gonna be amazing, and they were able to, and eventually we'll evolve the technology slowly. And also, I don't know how much of a part of it is, of course, we all know that Nintendo stayed with cartridge technology maybe arguably a generation too long, and how much that played into it. But also, the N64 was weird, because I was in college, I had a PlayStation already. My best friend was a avid gamer, so he had to get every single ducky. Mm-hmm. He had to get every single console. He was the first to have an N64. He was the first to have a Sega Saturn. All the
I played Panzer Dragoon for the first time at Europe.
Yeah, he had to have everything day one. He was hardcore. And he was where I played Mario 64 and early N64. And I loved some of the games. Like, we loved Shadows of the Empire. We loved GoldenEye, of course. Mm. So it wasn't just... I think it was my disappointment because I grew up with Mario on the on Nintendo, on the SNES, on the Game Boy. So it was kind of heartbreaking for a gamer of my generation to see Mario go into the 3D realm. Mm-hmm. I could forgive it now, but back then it was like, oh man, this is kind of lame. And also I don't think I ever got through the entire game, so I never experienced the whole thing. And there is a lot to it that's super cool, but it was a change. It was the beginning of a big change for that franchise. If you trace the trajectory back, you could see like, oh yeah, the evolution is, now we're like, oh yeah, of course it started there, and that's where the paradigm shift was. But maybe it was just the shock of that, being in that time and place where it was so significantly altered.
Yeah. I think another thing that helped the game, well, another piece of trivia, how many N64 games were available at launch? Anyone know?
2.
Right.
Was it 2?
Yep. And the Pilot Wings, that was the other one, right? So,
oh, wow.
I think that really helped it. Too.
Yeah.
Because there was, in fact, as I remember, I don't think there was another game on N64 from November 1996 until something like February 97 or something like that. Was the third game came out. So there was not much for people to play.
That's insane.
That's insane.
So yeah, I mean, imagine launching a console with 2 games. That's pretty bold. That's very Nintendo, but that hurt them. And of course, sticking with cartridges, which is a huge mistake for them. And that's where all the bad textures come from, because there's no memory on the goddamn thing. Does anyone in the balcony want to talk about Mario 64? We got someone over here. Thanks, Travis.
I'm on my way.
Thank you.
While I go do that, I wanted to give Dagan a shout out for the Kevin Spicoli picture.
Absolutely.
that none of the millennials will have any idea on.
You'll appreciate the last time I dressed up for Halloween was at Northeastern, and I was Spicoli, and I had a bagel in my pants.
Bagel in the pants. Gotta have it.
Yeah. Mr. Hand.
Mr. Hand. You're a dick.
You're a dick. Where'd you get the coat? Oh no, jacket.
How's it going?
Hey.
Hey, just question. Did you ever collect all 120 stars?
I didn't in that one. I did in Sunshine.
No.
So in the Mario 64, you never did?
No, not in 64.
So you never got on top of the castle?
I don't think so. No.
I haven't played it. How can you say it's one of the worst games if you
He
never got
go hard.
on top
He
of
go
the
hard.
castle?
He got the receipts. Go ahead, talk your talk.
You never got on top
Let
of
him
the
know.
castle and got all 120 stars, and then you're sitting here saying it's one of the worst games.
I said it was overrated.
I'm just saying.
I didn't say it. It wasn't my game.
You can't say it's the worst unless you've done it all.
I don't know about that. I actually would agree with that. Like, you can't say it's the worst. That was why I didn't. And you can't even say it's overrated. But I think you've had to have beaten the game. How many stars do you need to even beat it? Like 60, 70, 80? So that's pretty close to doing it all. Sunshine was the first game I did 100% in the first 3D Mario game. It was only the second 3D Mario game, but yeah. So I think that's an interesting point. But I don't. If you take a bite of a sandwich and it tastes like shit,
me and Maddie have that argument.
You don't have to finish the sandwich to know. And by the way, if the last third of the sandwich doesn't taste like shit, I don't care because I've already eaten 2/3 of the sandwich. This is, of course, known as the Final Fantasy 13 argument.
Bang.
Cog, you have something? Oh,
no.
Okay.
I have this argument with Maddie all the
wonder
time. So I'm 100% with you.
I wonder, had Nintendo stuck with 2D Mario, whatever that would have been, longer, enough for the technology to catch up to make a more polished visual offering with Mario, right? How that would have panned out.
Yeah, I wonder if, I guess you could have had a 2.5D N64. Yeah, right, on Wii.
Yeah,
you
they
could have
kinda
had
did
something
that.
like that way earlier, I guess.
Cell shading was around already.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah, I don't know. It is a weird thing. You had to have kind of been there, and it is a very nostalgic game for people. I think all of the bundled-in games are really nostalgic for people. Sonic, Wii Sports, all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Altered Beast.
Yeah.
Yep.
Altered Beast. Well, also, I mean, you did still have Paper Mario and stuff like that, which was kind of blending the two.
Oh,
so you
yeah.
did get kind of interesting experimentation.
Absolutely.
Even with the 3D kind of shift.
Yeah. No one has better ideas.
I think it's shocking you keep talking about how ugly it is. Have you seen other Nintendo 64 games?
Yeah.
They're
some
all
bad,
ugly.
There's some bad. It's
There's
true.
some real bad ones.
It's true.
Whoa, hey. Stinky Switch. Stinky Switch.
By the way, Super Mario 64 on the 64 looks better than The Witcher 3 looks on Switch.
Dude, we've been talking on the show. I have no idea how Hogwarts Legacy is going to run on the Switch. I have no. The PS5 is
magic.
Fair enough. All right. Shall we Ben, shall we do the last? Yeah, let's go to the last person. We already know who it is.
Yeah, who's next? Yeah.
All right.
Let's go. Woo!
Let's get it. Get it. So is this the right arm?
Good luck.
Yeah. Ah, Christ. What's up? Yeah. I got a mic. Don't worry about it. Thanks for coming. I'm glad you guys all made it here, dodging all those UFOs that were crumbling all over the country. So, I hope this works. All right, so the most overrated game of all time. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's a question that's plagued humanity for a very, very long time. I would say since the dawn of the very first games, beating each other senselessly to death with sticks. And also probably backgammon. I think it's old. But in the realm of video games,
let's go.
He's a gamer.
When we're talking about video games, I feel like it's a lot easier to narrow these things down. Thank God. God bless Jim Ryan. Look at him. So first we have to define what it means. What does overrated mean? And so the dictionary definition is obviously rated or valued too highly. And when I think about this kind of definition, I don't necessarily think of things that are critically acclaimed necessarily. I think of things that are a bit too ubiquitous for their own goods. Things like Imagine Dragons. I don't care for them. I don't like the name. I don't like that they're everywhere. Imagine Dragons don't tell me what to do. And it's the whole world's full of this shit. Overrated food. Overrated restaurants. Overrated art. And by the looks of how many people are here today, overrated podcasts. But Patreon.com/thesnarktank, by the way. But in the realm of video games, I feel like I've nailed it down. So,
Yo!
Your job security, bro. Your security. Think about your future.
That's exactly what I wanted.
He's a boxer now. He's full time.
Man, where do I begin? So what's it do? What does The Last of Us do? Zombies? Big deal. The Last of Us isn't even the best zombie game that we've had in the last 20 years. We got Dead Rising that did Hordes way better. We got Resident Evil 2 Remake. God, classic. Multiplayer, Left 4 Dead. Zombies, not the top. Story? I don't know about that. We got BioShock, full of like amazing story. Red Dead Redemption 2 alone, I would argue, is like way better than The Last of Us. Metal Gear Solid 3, and by the way, it's not even the best Naughty Dog story when you consider Crash Team Racing. This is a game where an alien comes to challenge bandicoots and mad scientists to a race under threat of turning into all of Earth into a parking lot. Inspired storytelling, in my opinion. Who's a more memorable villain? This fucking guy?
Oh, man.
That's not even the same guy. They recasted him. Who's a more memorable villain? This guy? Or this guy? Look at that, man. Oh, God. That is hot. So look at this. So I'll let you guys choose. I'll let you guys choose between them. No, I didn't realize the subtitle was there. No, you fucking animal. Where was I? Is it the best third-person shooter? How many people would agree that is it the best third-person shooter? No? Of course not. Gears of War 2 exists. Also, not the best Naughty Dog third-person shooter because Crash Team Racing had Warped had a little bazooka thing. So if it doesn't do any of these things, right? In conclusion, it's not the best zombie game, not the best story. This is a photo of Keith David. Yeah. For no other reason that I think he's great and I just wanted to show him to you. And by the way, guess who's not in The Last of Us? Keith David. It's a huge strike. Obviously, the television show is a big deal. It's getting critical acclaim. The Last of Us TV show's co-creator claims it's the greatest story ever told in video games. Obviously insane. But, it's a decent story. They did a good job transposing it into live action. I think the consensus is overwhelming. I do think it's a little amusing that, the highest regarded episode of The Last of Us happens to be the one where they deviated most from the game. But but that's up to the audience, I guess. I don't know what the fuck that is. I was high as hell when I was making this, by the way. I think I doubled up. Oh, yeah. So, wait. And also, honestly, I do, for real, I do think The Last of Us is kind of to blame for the glut of these similarly crafted experiences that we're seeing on Sony, on PlayStation right now. God of War, you got all this other shit that looks exactly the fucking same. We gotta bring a character into the 21st century. Let's give him a fucking child or something. Master Chief has to make his television debut. Let's give him a little Korean girl or whatever. It's fucking weird, and we don't need to do this. Let's stop. Also, this is a franchise with, I think, 4 entries and only 2 games. I think we can maybe relax a bit. And I don't know if I need to say any more. Finn. That's it. Little PNG. Well done. Wow. So if anybody's, I was so scared giving that presentation next to the Lincoln balcony over there.
Sic Semper Tyrannis.
Sig Semper Tyrannis.
Interesting choice.
Yeah. So I want to say, I understand that I'm fired, but still.
You're a boxer, bro.
I wouldn't fire you.
Yeah, I'll be a boxer.
Boxer now, bro.
All right, well, I don't know where to begin.
Was I wrong?
Yeah, who agrees with Chris?
I'm building a coalition.
That's surprising. I mean, I'm not so surprised. I felt it in my heart that it was coming, like someone was gonna do it.
There's no way, by the way, that we were told that we were going up in a random order. I don't believe that now. I don't believe that at all.
Yeah, well, yeah, you going last, I think, is good for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so.
Nice finale to it. Well, Dustin, what do you think?
It's weird because I feel like he might be right, and I like The Last of Us. Because I feel like all those, as many jokes as there are in there, you weren't wrong.
No, I don't think it's a bad game, by the way. This is overrated.
Right, that's the key
Not
distinction.
the same conversation. It's a very important distinction. I don't need anybody throwing darts at me. But I do think it's up there. I don't know why it persists.
I'm one of the major. Well, I mean, someone else would have given it a 10, but I definitely didn't help.
Well, I want to hear from who did somebody get the mic already?
I got one up here.
Oh yeah, okay.
Great.
Cool. This is especially tense. This feels like the part in Joker.
I'm not going to shoot you, Chris. Don't worry.
Someone
down there
there's
might.
still time.
They have a better angle on you. I wholeheartedly disagree.
Okay.
Yes. This comment will only mean anything in this room and this room alone, but I platinumed it and got the grounded achievements.
Oh.
Which means I'm a psychopath.
Yeah, that's kind of.
And my opinion probably doesn't matter. But the way it ended.
Yeah, my dad hasn't finished it yet. Don't spoil it for my dad.
Don't spoil it. There's a TV show.
You can just say the way it ended. That's fine.
The way it ended made me feel something and made me think in a way that a lot of games don't.
That's cool. I think it is one of those games that, I think it kind of depends on if you have that experience before or not. It's the first game that leaves an impact on you. For me, that was BioShock, no question. BioShock was the first time that I'd finished a game and I was like, yo, what the fuck? What did I just, is this, it took a while for me to figure out what I thought about it. And Shadow of the Colossus was another one that came a little bit later. And so by the time I finished The Last of Us, that big finale with emotional resonance wasn't necessarily something that I hadn't seen before. And it also kind of came in a package of, I think what's really special about The Last of Us is the characters, probably. That's why I didn't bring them up. But, Joel and Ellie are great characters, and that's really what fills it out. But, the story, I don't think anybody would necessarily argue that the story itself of The Last of Us is particularly, unique or incredible. It's a pretty by numbers story. It's a zombie apocalypse. You get the MacGuffin to point B, and then, it's all about the character interactions. And I don't know. There's been so many great titles, even before The Last of Us, that have got me thinking about that and thinking about character interactions in games. I think, I kind of jokingly put Gears of War 2 in there, but Gears of War 2 is a great story too. Actually, sincerely, I think it's a pretty underrated story, to be honest. And so, as far as this game made me cry or whatever, God bless, that's amazing. I cried I've cried at BioShock Infinite at places that made no fucking sense. So I'm in no, there's a scene where you play a guitar in a basement. Don't know why. No explanation for why that got something out of me. So I'm in no place to judge, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a great game. It's just, didn't need a TV show 10 years later. I feel the same way about games that I like, by the way. We should not have a Halo TV show today. There's no fucking reason. It's so dumb.
It's funny because the one thing that we can say about The Last of Us for sure is that the game was influential, like you said, and then the TV show is now going to be influential. Now everyone is going to try even more to get their shit out there. And it's as I said on Sacred, the problem for me is the Horizon show and all the God of War show, and it's I think it's all downhill from there, as far as narrative is concerned. But what I will say is that you're not off basis in that it's unclear why this game resonated so much. I think I've said it on the show before. This is not public information, but I know for a fact Sony had the game mock reviewed in '85. So for people that don't know, a mock review is when publishers hire usually ex-critics to review the game as if they're reviewing it for a publication. And it got an 85 internally, and it ended up 10 points higher, which is very rare. I actually think I know who mock reviewed it, I won't say. They were very wrong. But it was interesting. And I remember, I've said that a million times. I'm sure people are tired of hearing it. It's just when I gave that game a 10, I was very nervous. Because like everyone posts their reviews at the same time, and I'm like, I'm gonna be the fucking asshole that gave this game a 10, and everyone's gonna give it a 7. But I think it was very surprising how good it was. And I actually, Micah and I just went back and Micah, where are you? You're here. Hello. Everyone give a round of applause. When part 1 came to PS5, I platinumed it, and then Micah played it, and we did a podcast kind of. Some of you might have listened to, kind of going over it again, and I was actually surprised, in my opinion, how well it held up. I still think the second one's better, and the inevitable third one I can't wait for. There's absolutely going to be a third one, I think, just because I don't think you can leave it the way the second game left it. But that was the thing I'll say about The Last of Us Part 1 is that I don't think it made me cry. The thing about The Last of Us Part 2 is it definitely made me cry. Multiple times. So, but yeah, anyone else have anything they want to say? I'm sure. Yeah, let's go.
Look at that.
Emily, you're pick of the litter here, my friend.
This is why, like, I feel like this is a good one for conversation.
Absolutely.
Oh, sure.
We gotta invest in that basket.
Oh. Yeah.
Oh no.
It's me again. All right, just because you brought up platinums, now I gotta do it. I platinumed this game on PS3, 75% because some of those multiplayer trophies are bullshit. I platinumed it entirely on PS4, 100%.
Right.
I went back to it for a 9th playthrough. I streamed it. I played it on Grounded with no human kills.
Wow.
Is that possible?
That's
yes.
Tough. Okay.
You are right.
I'm right, you agree?
You are correct. This game is only good if you've never watched a good movie.
Whoa.
If you have watched a single movie, go watch No Country for Old Men. Go watch No Country for Old Men.
Everybody watch
Go Read the
Kangaroo
Road.
Jack right now.
Go see an actual good story, not just good character interactions, and you will see that The Last of Us is a one-trick pony that only knows how to write characters. And you want to know why that's not important? Because Uncharted 4 exists. It's not even the best Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann game because Uncharted 4 exists.
Damn.
Oh, please.
I don't think so.
Anyone, if you want to argue, please. I live here. I have home court advantage. Questions?
Uncharted 4 does have literal Crash Bandicoot in it. So that is, he might be right.
Yeah, Dagan and I just played Uncharted 4 for Knockback. He had never played it. And going back to it, it was fun. The last half of the game is stellar. When you get to, I don't want to spoil it, but when you get to the place.
Yeah. The place is pretty.
When you get to the old place.
Yeah.
The old place at Uncharted.
Yeah. I know that old place.
Yeah.
And it is good.
It is good. And so I would personally disagree with that. I think the thing is that I don't know how a person could look at The Last of Us and not realize like what it is and like what it did. In hindsight, I think things will be different for it because you have games like BioShock which predate it, and Metal Gear Solid 3 I think is a great example. I think Metal Gear Solid 2 is also a great example.
Yeah.
But and Metal Gear Solid, what was it? 3 is the one that's predictive as fuck, right? That's the creepy one. Or was it 2?
They're both kind of.
2, right.
2 is the one that's like.
That was the one with like the conversation on the codec where they basically describe the current day, but it's fucking 2001.
2 is the one where they're talking about like
okay.
memes and shit in like 2002 or whatever.
Yeah, Kojima's on something, but I think that's the major thing. Is I'm about genetics in games. Like, back in the day when Pandora, the music service, came out, they called it the Music Genome Project, right? That was the whole thing. The idea was to see like what songs have these different components and how it all adds together and why we like music. And the idea was to suggest the perfect music for you, like for you as an individual. And for me, I think The Last of Us just resonated because it's, as you said, Cormac McCarthy, major influence on this game, no doubt. Not only The Road, obviously, but No Country, certainly.
Yeah.
I like your Boba Fett socks, by the way. And then, I didn't notice you were wearing those. And then, and I just think that like I remember being a critic and getting my hands on this game early, and I couldn't believe it. I didn't understand how this was possible. It was like a major swan song for the console, for the PS3, and I just thought it was so fitting. Dig, I'm curious what you think now that you've played it.
I'm a relative newcomer. I think we played The Last of Us about 3 years ago for Knockback. and I still haven't played the second one. I'm loving the TV show. Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts about it. I mean, I think people love an end of the world, post-apocalyptic zombie story. It is probably the first video game that did make me cry, besides Kingdom Hearts. That was for a different reason.
That was a very sad
That was for a
reason.
different reason. But you know what? I think, yeah, story, character. I think, yeah, emotional resonance and all that kind of stuff. I think it spoke to me, and why it really resonated with me when I played it was because it was a story about being a parent. Right. You know, it was a story about, you know, being a dad. And the dad-daughter dynamic specifically, like, hooked me. And I think that is like an emotional hook that's almost unfair. You know, I don't think they were trying to be that. I also think about Naughty Dog, and I wonder how much of it, you guys will be able to speak to this more since you were like day oneers, but coming out of Crash, coming out of Uncharted, and then doing something that was such a departure. It's so, what I love about the Last of Us universe is that it feels very Cormac McCarthy. It's very grounded. You know, it's not, Chris brought up a couple of great examples of other games that are awesome in BioShock, all the iterations, Shadow of the Colossus. What else did you say?
Red Dead.
Red Dead.
Yeah, Spec Ops. We haven't gotten to that yet.
They're all awesome examples, but what makes and even other things that you brought up in your presentation, other zombie fare that's very good, Resident Evil and so on and so forth. This is just, The Last of Us is very grounded. You know, it feels very real, and I think you could really put yourself into the place of Joel, the place of Ellie. It just feels very relatable. It feels like it could happen, like a good film.
Definitely.
And I think seeing that kind of film resonance in a game is also something that was special. And I think it's something that I'm surprised we haven't seen more of yet, where it's not sci-fi, it's not fantasy, it's much more realistic.
Yeah. What do you think, Huck?
It's interesting because I don't think it's overrated, but I do think that the point you made really resonated with what spawned after it. And I think for people to watch Duke, y'all know I always go #just1, right? Third person, over the shoulder, cinematic, high graphical fidelity, tell a good story, right? A lot of that is spawned off of The Last of Us, right? And how I want Xbox to have that type of game that's a new IP. But the interesting thing you said is that now I think as it's matured in the genre, I think some people only resonate as that being a quality type game. It has to be that, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I think that's the thing that I'm worried about, like the constant regurgitation of the genre. And I know you've talked about it on Sacred before, where it's like, okay, are we getting another one? Are we remaking the remake and all this kind of stuff? So that's the only concern I have with it, because I do recognize it's a popular genre, but I understand your point when you were talking about the other, like the Days Gone. It's a formula now. It's become formulaic a little bit.
It narrows people's definition of what a good narrative can be. And that's kind of what bothers me about it. Because, I mean, BioShock's amazing, but there are people who would be like, well, there's no, like, you know, cutscenes. And it's like, well, yeah, that's the point. You know, it's like, and I've seen it happen, like, as the years have gone on. People have, like, kind of gone back. It's like, oh, well, that's not good because it doesn't look like a movie. And that's so sad.
Yes.
Because there's so many amazing, even just 2D games.
And to your point, not to cut you, people are not willing to try other genres anymore because of that. They resonate with that genre so much that it doesn't constitute it's a good game to them.
Yeah, because it's a little simpler, and you know, you don't. I mean, I would even argue I'm not huge on Souls games. That's why I baited everybody with the Dark Souls thing. But no, I'm not huge on those games, but like there is something special about like how they tell their story in the background and in lore details and stuff. And I think that's as valid an example of a great narrative as any. And just because it's not presented in shot reverse shot, 90-degree rule or whatever, standard cinematic storytelling, it kind of doesn't count for a lot of people. And I don't necessarily think that's The Last of Us' fault, because games, I mean, even Uncharted 2 was doing something similar, but I do think it really kicked off with that, where people kind of have less appreciation for things that aren't that because of it. And that's kind of, I don't know, it's a little sad because there's a lot of great shit. Prey is a great example. Like, Prey is unbelievable. Yeah. But that's such a weird experience. Like, you're not going to be able to get your grandfather or your mom to sit down and play through Prey. It's just too involved. It's too, I I guess, demanding, I guess. Because even I, like, as somebody who played video games for a long time, like, it took me years to appreciate what Prey was. I don't know. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. But, yeah.
Yeah, it's the one thing I'll say about that, I think and we talk about it on the show all the time, is the PlayStation games are blurring together now. And you used 4 great screenshots.
Yeah, that was good.
What's funny is that those games are also running on 3 different engines.
Yeah.
So they're rendering these games like exactly, somehow making them look an Unreal Engine, a Decima engine, and like an Ice engine, all.
I made them low res specifically because like I wanted people to be like, "What's that? Which one is that?"
Yeah, you can only tell what they are by the protagonists. Like you see Deacon or you see
or like the
Aloy.
HUD or something.
But that is a problem I have too. Is that well, I've said it many times. Is that PlayStation first party was largely irrelevant actually during the PS1 era, and even into the PS2 era. God of War didn't come out until PS3 was already almost out. You had Eco and Shadow of the Colossus and a few others, but Uncharted and then The Last of Us made PlayStation exclusives a thing. And that I think Sony is grateful for, but that's why I think they're always chasing it, because they want that continual critical hit. And shit, the DICE Awards were just last night, and God of War won like 7 awards out of 20 or something like that. It's like
it works.
Yeah,
it's the thing.
Yeah, it does work. It's like, but you know, we're gonna have this. The Sony's gonna give a presentation before E3 with first and second party games, and it's like I think that's when we're gonna start seeing some different shit. Like I assume Helldivers will be there. And some other stuff, but then we're gonna see them getting, like, I can't wait to see factions with gear scores and all this random shit that's gonna drive people insane, and then we might be, it's like I say on the show, be careful what you ask for. Because they have something pretty good going here, and then we're gonna get all these games as a service and all this fucking nonsense. I know it. I know that's why they're not saying anything. I feel it. It just feels like they're gonna always have these games, but we might be wishing for this stuff soon enough when they're trying to chase the Fortnite dollar and all of that. Let's go back to the audience. So anyone else want to say anything? Emily, where are you?
I got several up here.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, go up there, Travis.
Look at all those hands.
I'm sorry.
So I completely agree with a lot of what Chris said about The Last of Us, even though I adore the game. But I think when you talk about the game resonating, I think it's actually because for the first time, an entire game was a companion mission, and it wasn't shit. It wasn't, like, the AI actually worked 90% of the time with Ellie actually taking cover, actually shooting, or, like, the game functioned really well most of the time back in 2013 when most of our experience with companion missions was freaking, Resident Evil 4 going, Leon! And everyone being like, fuck, shut up.
Yeah.
So I think that game's showing that you could have a whole game with dialogue and characters and growth the whole time, and it was just different. And I think that that's why it resonated so well, because I don't think it did anything else exceptionally great. The story's good, the gameplay's fine, like the rest of the game is good, I love it, but I think that was the keynote I haven't heard any of you guys point out for what was unique about The Last of Us.
Yeah, I mean, you're not.
Thank you.
You're not wrong, but at the same time, like I remember, I have very, very vivid memories of playing The Last of Us when it was new, and really getting sucked into the world of it, and then like sneaking, and then Ellie would like just
jump in front.
just run, and it would just and no one has an issue, like they're still pretending like, what was it, the wind or whatever? And it's so I thankfully that didn't like, her getting spotted didn't screw you over, thank God. But I feel like there was like a bit of a dissonance with that. That was another thing that kind of confused, because I ran into that a lot, especially like, and this is kind of the nature of games because they're so like inherently dynamic with the AI and all these things. Your first experience of a game that's very, very AI dominated could be very, very drastically different. Like if you went through The Last of Us for the first time playing it and you didn't have any of those like weird kind of almost immersion breaking experiences, then I would imagine that it would resonate very, very heavily with you. But for whatever reason, my first playthrough was just littered with Ellie just standing in front of people who were looking for her, and they couldn't, and it was just bizarre. But I do think you're right that it's probably one of the first instances of like, not camp, what's the escort missions?
Escort, yeah.
That wasn't quite a pain in the ass. Although I think Bioshock Infinite was another game.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. Bioshock Infinite did a kind of a similar. Well, it was the same year. Bioshock Infinite was 2013.
2013,
Because I remember that was in the conversation. There was a huge. People were comparing them for some bizarre reason.
People compare
simply because of
games that don't need to be compared.
No, but
this audience has never done that.
But it was specifically they were comparing. It was like, okay, so look, these two games have women. Like literally, that was like actually. Like I remember that was like actually the argument was like that's got a woman friend in it, and that's got a woman friend as well, and it's just like they're like not even remotely the same, but yeah, those two kind of came out at the same time and did a very similar kind of a jump for escort missions, because I do remember that. That's why I didn't like Eco that much in comparison to Shadow of the Colossus, because I remember like this I hate dragging this bitch around. Like I hate it. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful game, but like I can't. Not in comparison to Shadow. But we got more?
Yeah, we want.
But that guy. The guy in the Lincoln.
Yeah.
The Lincoln
Hey,
balcony.
Chris, a fellow Joel here from the Lincoln balcony. So I can understand why you'd come to that conclusion as an Xbox guy, because even the best Xbox game is mediocre at best.
Oh, wow, this guy right here.
But
this
wouldn't
guy's
you
a
at
problem.
least? Wouldn't you
Have
at
you
least?
played? Excuse me, sir. Have you played Fusion Frenzy?
Yeah, the original Xbox is great. So wouldn't you at least concede that The Last of Us multiplayer was pretty great though?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's I wouldn't put it in like my top 10 multiplayers, but it's not even remotely bad or non-functional. I played a decent amount of it, but I kind of I gravitate to arena physics-based or like asymmetric stuff. Like Splinter Cell Double Agent had a great the Splinter Cell Mercs versus Spies. That shit was awesome, and I'm sad that kind of died away because that was really immersive and really cool, but. No, I thought the multiplayer was actually, in my opinion, kind of like almost the best part of it, because it was something that I could play, and I wouldn't have this AI kind of fucking up my immersion of it. It's way better than it should have been, or than it had any real right to be, especially because I mean, Uncharted 2 had a pretty well-respected multiplayer too, but that was also at a time when Sony was just not known for like Halo 3 was clearly just nuking them. Like constantly, like I was like, it was Call of Duty, Halo 3, and like Gears and like some other stuff that were like really the multiplayer focal point of that time. And so I think games like even like Resistance and Uncharted didn't really get that much of a fair shake because people didn't really care about multiplayer on the PlayStation at that time. But The Last of Us multiplayer is great.
Yeah, it was during an era where there was like the tacked-on multiplayer, like Bioshock 2 and. Assassin's Creed.
Spec Ops The Line.
I forgot about that.
Spec Ops The Line. I played Spec Ops The Line for the first time. It was a beta. It was a multiplayer beta, and I was like, why is this here?
It's because they didn't want you to sell the games back. That was the whole idea, right?
Yeah.
And right, online passes for a little while, that was like 2010, 2011, 2012. That wasn't resonating. I think what's interesting when talking about Xbox in this regard is that we do know, based on documents from the various lawsuits that are happening and all of that they're chasing this game. Like their internal review of The Last of Us 2, I think, said something along the lines of like we've never made anything like even remotely like this, like of this quality, basically. And but you're right in the sense that like we can't frame the quality of the game only in third-person realistic shooters. But one of the things that I think the game does really well is, and this sounds weird, but is violence. Like as I always say on the show, like I'm tired of playing games that are just violent. And this game was really violent. The second one's even crazier in terms of the violence, but it makes you earn the violence in some weird way. You don't really want to do it. Guys like grabbing at your arms and gurgling and all that stuff. It's crazy. That I remember being one of the crazier things, beating the shit out of someone with a 2x4 or something like that. And it's like, yeah, you're gonna do this, or it's not gonna be like he's not gonna just die and disappear or something like that.
Yeah.
So I like that the way they played with violence, but I think one of the things that the show does actually better than the game is emphasizing the human element and not the infected. They're barely to be seen in the show, which I kind of dig.
Yeah.
And that's not like that in the game. And I like that in the show they're saying like actually the other people are the biggest danger here, not the infected. And there's a lot of that in The Last of Us as well, but not to that extent. So I think that's one of the cool things that the show has kind of expanded upon. But I am interested to see like The Last of Us. There's no doubt that The Last of Us one of the most influential properties in gaming history.
Yeah.
Just based on everything it did. But I can respect people not liking it or thinking it's not for them. I actually have way bigger problems with people liking The Last of Us and not liking The Last of Us Part 2. That to me makes no real sense at all. No. But yeah. Anything else? Let's yeah. Emily, you want to pick someone? Yeah, please. Thank you.
Okay. Well, hello. So for me, Super Mario 64 resonated with me as a child so much, made me love video games. In 2013, kind of just dropped off games. The Last of Us did the exact same thing. Now with Nintendo and 3D pushed basically gaming forward really well with 3D. Does everybody on the stage see in gaming being pushed forward with anything else? I mean, obviously 3D's great now, but is there anything that The Last of Us has brought to gaming that has pushed it forward like Nintendo did with Super Mario 64? So
production, in my opinion, it's like I say, production per square inch, right? That's the term I use on the show. At the time it came out, I think The Last of Us was pretty much at the top of that. I think you can make the argument that BioShock had that too in 2008. Oh, it was 2007 actually. It came out with the PS3.
2007, yeah.
Yeah, it came to the PS3 in 2008, so that's when I cared about it.
God, 2007.
But I actually played it on Xbox 360, to be honest. But yeah, I think that would probably be the element to me. It's just like the sheer expense of the game. But what's interesting too is that we know that The Last of Us Part 2, for instance, which we won't spoil obviously, but it sold, like a game like Elden Ring outsold The Last of Us Part 2 in like a week and a half. You know, Hogwarts Legacy outsold it in 2 weeks. So while we are deeply connected to it as PlayStation fans, and while it's sold 10 million or 11 million, probably 12 or 30, actually it probably is doing great now. I still feel like we have to keep in mind that actually the PlayStation games that are most important are Horizon, God of War, Uncharted, Spider-Man, of course, and Wolverine soon, the Marvel stuff. And that The Last of Us is, though it's like the so-called quadruple A style game that Sony wants, it's not like the commercial darling that I think they want it to be. And that's why I think it was so interesting that they did the HBO show, because it's giving it new life, and they're picking up the numbers, and maybe it'll reach that level. But it is interesting that I think if it was up to them, they would have that be their biggest game, because it's the most critical darling, but it's not the one that's most visible, at least until a few weeks ago when the HBO show came out. So I think that's an interesting element of it too. Anyone else want to talk?
I got one up here.
Okay, great.
Howdy. My question was just, how much do you think a controversial sequel and PlayStation juicing the kind of Last of Us formula has made people go back and look at The Last of Us differently? I think of a movie like The Matrix. Comes out, it's influential, it's exciting, it's really different, and then 2 controversial sequels come out, lots of imitators, and suddenly we don't look back at the original Matrix as fondly. And I think about The Last of Us, it just seemed to me like there was a pretty universal consensus that it was a 10 until the sequel, and until PlayStation just started really knuckling down on the formula.
Wow. I feel like, I'll say this. I feel like I don't want this to become a Last of Us Part 2 thing, but I do think the second game gaslights you in some way into thinking certain things in the first game didn't happen the way they happened, or like it tries to kind of retcon, and that's like fine, but it does kind of stick out to me. And so I do think like the leaks for The Last of Us Part 2 did the game no favors either, and I do think it retroactively kind of. It's funny. For whatever reason, I thought of Shrek immediately when you said that, because Shrek used to be like a really big, like Shrek. I think didn't it win like the first animated Oscar or something like that?
Yeah.
Like that was like a critically acclaimed, and the second one was unreal. Like how good Shrek 2 is an amazing movie still, and then the third one was like, ooh, like this is so bad that Shrek retroactively became like a punchline, that new Puss in Boots movie is dope as hell too, but yeah, it's kind of like that where I do think because the Last of Us didn't need the second one.
No.
And so when you do that, you do kind of invite a retroactively introspective or inspective lens, and if you execute it poorly, which that's up to really personal. Like I obviously sold a bunch, and it's reviewed really really well, and it's obviously like really really well made. But if you don't land some of those more subjective elements, you're inviting a lot of people to kind of like look back and maybe kind of wonder, it's like, was this worth it? Like, did we really need this second one? I would argue no. I would argue, like, I think Colin even says, like, the second game is less justified than the third one at this point, because the second one just leaves off in like a really awkward. I think the first game ends really really well, and then the second one kind of doesn't, as far as like its own cohesive thing. So I mean, those leaks did not do it any favors, and the reception didn't do it any favors either, especially. When the criticism was already being made that there were so many games that were kind of copying it or just trying to do Last of Us. I mean, that's what I thought when I first saw God of War, when they were like, let's give Kratos a child. Mm-hmm. The first thing I thought of was like, oh, they're Last of Us.
About the Last of Us.
They're doing Last of Us again, and like Twisted Metal is gonna come out, and Sweet Tooth is gonna have a little clown baby. I'm only half joking. Like I wonder how, like how valid of a formula they think that is internally. Like, yeah, what? Just give Sweet Tooth a kid. What do you mean? Like it's literally 100% of the times that they have tried it as PlayStation, it has worked.
Yeah.
So like, why wouldn't it? You know what I mean? Like, why wouldn't they think of that as a valid? And they're doing it again, technically, if the end of Uncharted 4 is any indication. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like you just need to know when something is done, and best left alone. Like I think The Last of Us, if left by itself as a one-off game, would have been unquestionably like a highly praised forever type of game. And I think largely it still is, but that largely unnecessary second one, regardless of how anybody feels about it, I do think that harms in some way the standing of the first one, because now it's less of this unique thing. I feel the same way about Death Stranding too, by the way. Even though I'm looking forward to it and I'm very curious about what he's going to do, I do think the first Death Stranding is very very special because it's so weird and bizarre. And what else could you do with that? It would be a lot more interesting if it was just like, hey, here you go. I'm going to go do something completely different now. But that's just, I don't know. That's personal. I just value those kinds of one-off things. So
what's interesting too is that they used to show more restraint at Sony to not replicate things. In fact, so first of all, Resistance 3 had a different ending originally because they were going to continue it, and then Resistance, and I know this from a couple sources back in the day, but the pitch for Resistance 4 was turned down because there was another game like it that was in development, and that game was The Last of Us, because they figured like they're both post-apocalyptic. That was literally the connection. And now
you have Days Gone coming.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then you have all of these they kind of embraced it more, as opposed to not continuing with, so they actually knew those lessons back in the day, and they don't know them now. But I think they would, Jim would, we saw him. He would be like, well, look at the numbers, dude. I mean, Resistance 3 sold 3 million copies.
It's the business aspect at that point.
Yeah. So, but it's, Ben, where are you? Yeah. What time is it?
We've got about 25 minutes.
Okay. So. Should we do like some Q&A maybe?
Well, I was going to say, if you want to do some Q&A, I wanted to let you say whether you wanted it to be restricted to this subject.
No, let's do it.
So just Q&A about basically, Last Stand stuff or games or whatever. And if you ask a question, I would say just try to make it one that anybody on the panel can answer, not just specific to one person. Or do whatever you want. I don't care.
Thanks, man. Thank you for that.
Nice.
All right, let's do it then. Emily will pick it.
We're doing it the same way? Okay, cool.
Hello.
What? I'm stoked. I'm stoked. Whatever the hell's going on, I'm into it. I'm into the trippy visuals. I'm into people getting spliced into like different dimensions and shit. I'm down. Green grappling hook weird shit. Yeah. I'm all about it.
Straight. Who has the mic? I can't see.
I have the mic.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys saw the Suicide Squad stuff, huh?
Yeah.
You mentioned actually something about what PlayStation might be heading to, which is gas games.
Yep.
And I feel that, unfortunately for Rocksteady, from the reception that I saw on Twitter yesterday, from what they showed from Suicide Squad, is looking like it's going to be a big flop.
Yeah, maybe critically, but I doubt commercially. I think that's all they care about. You know, look at how well Gotham Knights sold.
I mean, it really kind of looks like a better looking Fortnite. You know, just because everybody's shooting, and it's just like, I mean, just when I saw it, I was underwhelmed, knowing how Rocksteady has been very critical with the Batman Arkham games, and I just want to know what y'all think about that.
Yeah, Dustin, what do you think?
Well, I think that it's clear that there was a lot of issues behind the scenes with this game. Took a long time to make, and now we see the heads of the studio leave. And so it kind of makes you question what the direction was behind the scenes. Maybe there was some internal conflict. But the thing that is confusing to me is that I saw a lot of people complaining about it being really shooting heavy and the loot and stuff like that. And I think that's justifiable. But there's part of me too that looks at this and says like, well, a lot of people like games that have all these elements. It's just that you wanted this game to be something else. So I'm not quite ready to say like this game sucks, we shouldn't play it. Sure, I think that maybe feeling disappointed about a game not being something that you wanted it to be is justified, but I don't know. I'm not ready to totally call off this game yet.
Yeah. Dig, I'll skip you because I know you haven't seen the footage yet.
No.
Chris.
Man, I don't know. I think for me, it's. I don't have a problem with games as a service. Obviously, like me and Cog are big Destiny people, but I don't need a fucking other one. Because these are jobs.
Facts.
These games are basically jobs that you don't get paid for, and you atrophy, and it's kind of depressing.
And you hate it when you play it.
Yeah, and you feel almost guilty when you play it because it's like, it's always like, thank God, like there's some games out there that play really well, but like, and I'm sure this game will be one of them. It's just a matter of like how much time, how much of my mental bandwidth am I willing to dedicate to this growing game with a live economy that never sleeps. That is a Suicide Squad game. I don't know if I have it. I don't know if I have it in me to just like, let's run the Sharkman raid tonight so I can get a cool little fucking earpiece or whatever. It's like I can't.
The score is the problem.
And what is Harley Quinn doing Spider-Manning around? What's going on?
That's weird.
Yeah, it's definitely
bizarre.
I think actually the more distant we get from Arkham Asylum is like the more I realize that I know people love Arkham City and I know people like Arkham Knight too, but for me it's like Batman Arkham Asylum was really the only one that was truly amazing. And I look at it and I'm like, you're actually pretty distant from what made your game special. I don't know. This seems like a completely focus tested game.
Yeah.
And also I feel like I would love to know, first of all, why Sefton Hill is leaving, and it's like it goes into our question on sacred symbols a lot. I've been talking a lot lately about why aren't studios ephemeral? Why do we assume that they're permanent? And Naughty Dog is an example. Like Naughty Dog is from the early '80s. They're old, and they're like 3 creative units away from their origins. I mean, Andy Gavin and Jason Rubin sold the company in 2001 during Jack and Daxter's development, and that's an example of a studio that's existed and actually thrived. But then I look at studios like this and I'm like, why don't we look at them like bands? That's what I've been saying on the show recently, where bands break up. Like sometimes you replace someone, but ultimately it's not the same. Then you go see them and then it's not the same. It's like, and I use the Chester Bennington playing with Stone Temple Pilots as an example, RIP, to both Scott Weiland and Chester Bennington. There must be a curse with Stone Temple Pilots. But for me, I look at it and I just wonder if Rocksteady even really has it and why WB allowed this to happen to this game. They just released a game like this, like in some way in Gotham Knights. Like, so I understand people's concern about what is this? Like, I think they wanted something a little, maybe not linear, but because Arkham Knight wasn't linear for sure, or City, but maybe a little tighter, you know? So what do you think, Huck?
I think it's the risk of the business. I think right now is that, even if you tell this tight, great story, single player, if you bomb, the financial risk, I think, is something that they're just not willing to take. And I think the easier, safer choice is, okay, if we succeed with games as a service, which is the popular genre, then we got a better shot. The problem is kind of what Chris said, which is like, there's just so many. Mm-hmm. So
as a player, you can only commit to so many. And if you don't pop, if you don't hit it, or if you don't have the actual continued content to support it, you're out of here.
Yeah,
so
totally.
It's a tough business. I understand it's the trend, it's the hottest thing. People are seeing the Fortnite situation, they're seeing the Destiny thing. But think about how many Destiny killers me and you've been through.
Oh, dude, there's so many, and so many of them don't even. You either have something like X Defiant or like one of these like weird, random like, hey, look at this. Isn't this is going to be the next big thing? It's going to be the next new thing. And then it's like, okay, well, I don't care. And then you have this pre-existing thing that is like shoved into this design model that just doesn't work. It would be like a Mrs. Doubtfire MMO or something. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what makes you feel like this works? Why would you make Avengers a live service game? That is so insane.
Yeah,
you could replace the Hulk's lungs in that game because you needed to play for like upgradable things, and it's like, oh, I'm gonna upgrade the Hulk's lungs. This is insane. It's insane.
Catch it that way.
It's just interesting to me that to me, I look at it and I'm like, I would think that the smaller financial risk would be to make single player games, right? Like tight, good single player games, even if they're open world, non-linear, whatever. Like Cog, I mean, what do you? I'm thinking 8 years. Well, let's assume they canceled the game at Rocksteady. They did Batman VR, so let's assume this game entered in 2017. This is a $150 million game, maybe more. I mean, it's expensive. Yeah. And I think when I look at that, I'm like, you didn't need to spend all this time on this. You should have had a fucking 20-hour game about the Suicide Squad, made it in 3 years, like it used to happen. And that's why I'm happy to see games like, even though I don't think it did extraordinarily well, but that Plague Tale sequel. Yeah. Sobel made that in under 3 years. Like that's almost unheard of today. And so these developers are putting all this time and money into something that might not stick. And I think that they're betting on they're
betting on whales.
Yeah, exactly. And they're just betting on licensing. And I think that's fine, but I understand people's disappointment in it because I said it during the VIP session. Is like I'm actually quite attracted to the DC universe compared to the Marvel universe. I think it's interesting, and I think that Captain Boomerang character is fucking dope. I like him a lot. But I thought the gameplay looked fun. But when I looked at it, I'm like, this isn't Arkham, and I think that people expected that. And part of me is like, well, they don't want to make that game anymore. But you can't be mad when people are. I'm very interested to see how this game does. Actually, yeah. I think it's going to sell. I think this game's good for 10 million copies, probably, at least.
It'll do very well.
And I say that only because Gotham Knights is still on NPD today. I mean, I think it was number one or number. Well, actually, it wouldn't have been number one because it would have been sports. Yeah, maybe at number 3 or number 4 the month it came out, and it's just never gone away. So they're looking at that. Gotham Knights is definitely not going to be anywhere as good as this game is. It's not nearly as polished. The studio's not nearly as good. So I think that they just don't give a fuck, to be honest. But you would think they would look around, even games like Babylon's Fall, Crossfire X. Like you have to be looking at these games and being like, shit. Part of you is like, well, there's openings now. But part of me is like, well, no one played Babylon's Fall. No one played Crossfire X because no one wants to play it because they like Destiny. They like Fortnite. You know, I don't know. They like fucking Rumbleverse. I have no idea what they like. All right, let's go to the next one.
I went up here.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry, Emily, I'm confusing you.
Dagan, I appreciate the rhymes. That was awesome. So, Super Mario 64 was the first game that I have any memory of playing. What's yours?
I'm sorry.
The first game that you can remember playing.
Oh, that's the very first game.
Very first game. For me, that was 64.
Oh my God. You want me to really admit my age.
Come on, let's go.
You know what?
Come on.
You know what the very first game I think I remember playing was the arcade cabinet with my grandfather on like a trip to New York. He was like taking me to the circus and out to eat. And I think it was in Penn Station. Okay. And it was the arcade cabinet of Phoenix.
Wow.
That was the first game I remember playing. It doesn't really make sense retroactively because I had to play other games first. I think Phoenix came in like 1980 or something. But that's my first memory of playing a game and just being like, I don't know what this is, but it's like, you know, it's a cartoon and I'm playing it. Like, this is the most amazing thing. And
was it like a Dragon Slayer thing? Or?
No, Phoenix was like Galaga or Galaxian. It was like a clone.
Yeah. Space Invaders.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dagan loved Dragon Slayer. He had a Space Ace. Poster in his
Love Don Bluth.
Those games suck, but they're cool.
They're super cool.
Super cool.
But actually, it was in season 2 of Stranger Things, I think, when they played Dragon's Lair. And what's annoying is that I wish that they were like this game sucks. But because that game, I don't know if you guys have played that game. When it came to PS3, I finally beat it for the first time. Because for people that don't know, Dragon's Lair was it was Don Bluth, right? And it was
Laserdisc.
Yeah, a Laserdisc game, and so it was this beautiful animation, just stunning animation, and you would just make choices.
Yes.
And it was totally unfair. But the game was so beautiful that people just kept playing it. So you could get like so far into the game, like you could have made like 10 or 11 or 12 or 15 choices, and then you just die. And what was cool was the death animations were like beautiful. But yeah, I don't know. I always think about those games too. I'm glad you brought that up because I have a love-hate relationship with those games too. For me, I think the first game I remember playing is Kid Icarus.
Ooh. Wow.
On NES, which is still a favorite of mine. And what's so sad is that, maybe it's not sad, well, I think it's pretty sad, is that I think I was like 7 or 8 beating the shit out of that game.
That's a hard game to cut your teeth.
Totally. And now it's like, I play Kid Icarus, like I load it up on NES or on a Switch once in a while, or actually it was on the Wii the last time I was really playing it, I believe. And, or maybe it was on 3DS, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, I'm horrible at this. And I know that game like frontwards and backwards, so I just can't play games anymore.
Classic.
Like, at the level I used to play them. So I think Kid Icarus would be my answer. What about you, Dustin?
I kind of have 2 answers, because one, I played a lot of games like educational games on PC when I was a kid. And there was one, I wonder if anyone in this audience has ever heard of this. It's called Toonland with Howie Mandel.
Oh, what?
Yeah, so I used to play Toonland. I can see my mom back there. She knows. I used to play on the computer, and I would say like, Mom, can you click me a drink? She always loves telling that, so I just... But, you know, it's hard for me to say this, particularly on Chris Chan's birthday.
Oh, I saw a new episode went up a few days
ago. A new episode's out, but Sonic.
Woo. The first one.
First Sonic?
The first Sonic. Yeah, I don't know why really we had Sega in the house.
That's right. Say it with your chest.
You know, I kind of wish we had Super Nintendo. Not gonna lie. Looking back, I mean, don't get me, like the Lion King game is cool, but I had this game, Booger Man. Do you guys remember that game?
Yeah.
That game was, what was going on with that?
Yeah, that was
I mean, really, look back, like, Booger Man, what?
Genesis had like some weird shit that was actually pretty good, like Vector Man.
Yeah.
Was pretty
Vector
cool.
Man.
Comic Zone, which I think is coming back.
That's a good
I was never a big fan of that game, playing that game, but that game was just a dope idea.
It was cool.
Yeah, great idea, great concept.
What about you, Chris?
Man, it was definitely the NES. It was something. If it wasn't the first Super Mario Brothers, which is like a very generic answer, but it just literally was. It was either that or it was between 3 games. It was the Mario / Duck Hunt game, Excite Bike, and this game called Shadow of the Ninja, which like I don't even remember. I think it was
Natsume?
Yeah, I think it was Natsume, and it was those. But that was ancient. That's like first memories type shit. It's like early. That might be my second memory, actually. Oh man.
I'm afraid to ask what your first is.
Yeah, you don't want to know.
Kyle, talk to me.
Oh man. Oh, kind of 2 answers.
What's happening?
Yeah, it's your fault.
That's fine.
That's
good one.
tough. That's tough.
That's funny. For me, since I'm old, arcades first for me. So why I fell in love with Sega was because of the arcade units. I remember seeing that big bike you jump on. So it was Hang On.
Hang On.
Hang On was for me. And as a kid, you always mesmerized by the dark rooms, the glowing lights. And I was just like, I want to get on that. So my dad took me to the arcade. I jumped on it. So that's where probably the Sega affiliation started because they were so dominant in the arcade. It was just that. It was Afterburner. It was everything.
Hell yeah.
And then like the first console was probably ColecoVision. You remember Coleco, Dagan?
Of course.
Yeah. So my dad had Coleco.
Oh, lucky.
It was just.
Everybody wanted it, but nobody had
It
it.
was a stupid game. Was it Mr. Dude? Remember Mr. Dude?
Of course.
Mr. Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, MRD.
That was a thing.
Oh my. But I just loved it. And it was funny if you look at Coleco retrospectively, they actually had Nintendo had games for Coleco.
Mm-hmm.
Sega had games for Coleco. You see like their early beginnings kind of thing. 'Cause it was kind of like a whole bunch of publishers on it. But yeah, those were probably the early memories for that.
Aren't they? Isn't Coleco in the shit right now? For like, it doesn't Pat Country like hate go
That's
on?
They're around.
That's
still?
in Television.
Oh, in television. Okay. I'm
Television.
sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's that guy's name? Tommy
Tallarico.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude, have you
That's a
seen
whole
that
nother
YouTube video about that?
No, I haven't.
What is that? Oh, the oof Roblox sound video.
Oh yeah.
It's like 3 hours long. And it's about, well, it's
Man, you love yourself some YouTube. I do too. I gotta get into. I follow the guy that does the.
Sorry, it's
Stand
not fight videos.
Yeah, no, I like my. God, man, I don't. Isn't that weird that I like never? I always say I never leave the house. In fact, I leave the house every day. But I like to stay by. I'm very insular and don't do anything. And I try to just kind of. I don't like really being in stores and all those things. But man, do I watch public freak out and fight videos every day. r/public freakout. r/fight porn. You're welcome. All right, let's go to the next one. Emily.
Shout out to my fellow Yinzers in the building.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, from Pennsylvania.
We got a Jag here.
Is Ben still back there?
Yeah, he's right here.
He is indeed. Now I see you've got from the motherland the Sheets shirt on. Big respect. I have to ask everybody: have you been to Buc-ee's yet?
Dude.
Can you explain to me what it is? Because I've seen people wearing a shirt. I'm not really familiar.
It's like 2 sheets and half a Walmart stuck together. And as a guy with IBS, I know you'll understand how important this is. There are like 100 toilets. So there's more toilets in the building than there are gas pumps.
Wow. And it's good?
And there's a guy in there. He's just cleaning the toilets just back to back.
Oh, there's a guy in there?
It's amazing.
So is it like a truck stop?
No trucks allowed. That's the best part. No trucks allowed.
Why is it a selling point that there's a guy?
That's the feature. And it's only here in Texas?
It's all over the place, but I think it's famous here.
If it's not a truck stop, why is there so many toilets? Do people go there just to go to the bathroom?
Yes.
Wait.
Wow, they were emphatic.
Yeah, they were very emphatic.
So there's a guy just in the bathroom always?
Yeah.
A bathroom attendant.
And there's a whole deli counter, but it's just beef jerky.
Like, does he like when you go in there? Does he leave?
Oh, but he's not in the stall with you.
I know he's not in the stall.
It's 24 hours?
Yeah.
I don't like that.
So 24 hours.
I'm a convert.
Put a robot in there.
All hail Buc-ee's. Sheets is dead to me.
What's funny is that we were talking about it earlier. Was that I hadn't Wawa is a thing. Dagan introduced me to Wawa years and years ago. I love Wawa, but I actually like Sheets more. And I hadn't had Sheets until the night. It was the night before the night of the live show in Pennsylvania.
It was
Pittsburgh.
both.
Oh, both. I got fucking trashed. And we went, and I went. They have a grill there, which I think Wawa does now, but Sheets like makes burgers. And we were there at like 1 or 2 in the morning. I went up to the counter 3 times. I got the same thing 3 times.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, this is awesome. But what I was talking about in Virginia is that, and I didn't know this was the thing, but like, there's a Wawa and a Sheets like a quarter of a mile from each other in my town. And I was like, I didn't know that they were supposed to be that close to each other. I always envisioned they were kind of separate. Hatfields, McCoy kind of situation. Yeah. But I'll have to check this place out. We leave tomorrow night, actually, so we have. I
was going to say, to answer this man's question here, is that my lovely wife Holly, who's back here, she shout out to Holly. She has mentioned Buc-ee's probably, I don't know, is it every day? Leading up, the frequency, she's like, we got to go to Buc-ee's. I'm like, Holly, we're driving 30 minutes to go to a gas station outside of town. But I'm into it. I like the character. The beaver. It's a beaver? Yeah. So I want to go. Like, I'm with her, but I really appreciate her enthusiasm. So I think we've got a Buc-ee's fan in the making with Holly. You guys really like this, don't you?
Dude, I mean, the most emphatic answer you guys gave all night by far was when we asked if you go there just to use the bathroom. Every single person in here said yes simultaneously, like a Catholic service.
You'll know why when you get there.
All right, fair enough.
My original plan, by the way, for my shirt, I was going to order a Buc-ee's shirt and wear it tonight. And I thought, but could I trigger people with a Sheets shirt? That was the goal.
You won't trigger me. I love Sheets. Shout out to the grill at Sheets. All right, let's keep going.
I have one up here.
Hey, Colin, just a quick question, man. You say you watch fight videos on YouTube?
Yeah.
Do you watch Austin Street Fights?
Yes, dude.
Oh. Austin Street Fight.
Dude, what the fuck is that guy doing? If you guys did anyone hear this?
You told me about
Yeah,
this.
Can I
anyone
chime
heard
in
of
real
this?
quick?
Texas Street Fight? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. It's cool because this guy walks around with like a 4K camera
Yeah, dude.
through downtown Austin, and he catches people throwing hands like nobody.
Dude, I have no idea how he does it.
Somebody getting the beat
It's
all
crazy,
the time.
dude. It's fucking crazy.
Does
It is
he
the
incite?
highest quality
Yeah, does he
shit.
instigate?
And this dude has like 3, 4, 5 videos a week.
He's an instigator.
Like he
has to.
It's on I see it
Yeah,
on YouTube,
always.
but I think it's on Reddit or whatever. But
That's great.
But dude, it's so funny you know that because it is like usually when we're watching him, it's like someone in portrait mode on like their iPhone or something. But this guy's literally got probably a red camera, like a $1,000 camera. And he just happens to find the fights, and they're always broken up by the cops in the blue
Yeah,
shirts.
the cops come. They don't come with
so like
pepper
you
spray.
always see the cops in the background with the blue shirts, so you got to get it all done before the cops come. Oh, I love it. I
Austin
love
Street
it.
Fights.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, quick question.
Yeah,
I'm not from Texas. I'm from California, but is it true you guys have that? What is it like when you want to fight someone, you go to a cop and you tell them you. And you're like, yo, I want to fight this guy, and they're like, cool.
Wait.
What? You announced the violence? What we doing?
Yeah. Wait, question. There's just like, I just want to ask because more, fair
Like
combat.
a duel?
What the hell? Like Texas is crazy.
I challenge
I love
you?
it. Texas is awesome.
Yeah,
That's
dude, they're like,
wild.
as long as it doesn't go to aggravated assault, y'all are good. That's crazy.
You get the glove out.
Yeah.
Nice challenge.
I love that.
I don't know.
That's good shit. I was talking. Actually, Mike and I were talking about it a few weeks ago, where I was like, why don't we duel anymore?
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be facetious. It's like if 2 people want to get together and fucking shoot a gun at each other, and everyone's cool with it. It's like Alexander Hamilton and Aaron Burr. Aaron Burr was the fucking vice president when he killed Alexander Hamilton. Can you believe that? Now we like don't let anyone do that shit anymore.
Yeah.
Let's go to the next one. You got anyone up there, Travis?
I got one.
Okay.
We've really gone soft. We don't shoot each other's vice president.
Dick Cheney? I don't have a problem with Dick Cheney that badly. Dick Cheney almost killed himself.
Is he alive?
Yeah, he's alive.
I don't know. Is that my responsibility? That seems so cosmic.
I don't think we can legally answer this.
Yeah. Are you a Fed?
He died.
No, I wouldn't kill anyone. I wouldn't. Actually, I don't know. Always think.
Do you think if you rubbed a magnet in front of Dick Cheney's chest, it would like fuck everything up?
That might do it.
Probably. How did he?
Because he's got like a plastic heart or something. Like I'm not even kidding. Like he's got like 8 pacemakers.
Dude, when he shot himself on that hunting trip, that was the funniest shit ever. No, he shot the guy he was with, right?
He shot.
Yeah, that's what it was.
He shot his friend in the face.
With a shotgun.
Because he thought he was a quail.
That guy knew too much. Take me to Halliburton. All right, let's go to the next one. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Emily. Yeah, you'll go next.
Hi. I guess
Where are you?
everyone
Can't
has
see.
all
Oh, there you
are. Everyone has all these goofy questions, but I thought of mine when we were still talking about The Last of Us. I guess I was wondering how much you think like the score plays into what makes The Last of Us so good. I guess I particularly like the score, and so I just wanted to know what you guys, how much it would take away if it wasn't there or wasn't as good.
I think quite a bit, actually. I think that it's funny because I'm a musician, but I'm not so into video games. I was much more into like MIDI music than I am into like game scoring in the modern era. But it's funny in watching the HBO show, it's funny how audio stingers and the soundtrack really heighten it and makes that nice connection. And I guess it's like Uncharted. Like the music for the music for Uncharted. It's actually maybe the most iconic thing about it. I don't know if that's the case with The Last of Us, but I think it's an important and crucial part. And I know Naughty Dog spends a lot of money on sound specifically, and not only music, but just the fidelity of the sound. So
It's super important. Can you imagine if a game with like an iconic soundscape or soundtrack was brought to television and you actually used those?
You used the source material?
Wouldn't that be crazy?
That made it great?
Yeah.
Gregorian chants?
Are they doing more?
I don't care. I would argue that the soundscape of a game is like 50% of like what's good. I think a lot of not even just video games, but like movies and television as well. Like I don't think Star Wars or Harry Potter or any of these other things would hit as hard without that
without those iconic scores, without any of the sound design that goes behind it. I mean, the lightsaber sound alone by itself. Like, I don't like Star Wars like at all, really. Like I didn't grow up with it. It wasn't really like a part of my life growing up. But even so, like the what is the Twin Suns theme when like Luke is looking over the like that song is fucking like objectively incredible.
Facts.
And it elevates everything. And I think the same is true for The Last of Us. That theme is great.
Oh, yeah.
And you'd be insane not to use it for the intro of your live action television show.
Yeah, I'm on the same type of time.
You're so bitter, I love it.
Yeah, video game music is super important to me. So
Yeah.
it's like,
imagine Doom without
exactly, could
that's
you imagine? So it's
Dude,
like, I
Silent
always feel
Doom.
like the game is great if the title screen music is good. Because to me, they care about it. So we talk about great games like that. Last of Us would definitely be in there. Halo, come on, like the chance. And then when we talk the correlation to TV, just think about. I'm not even a Star Wars guy like that either. But when I hear the Mandalorian theme, bro, that hit different.
Yeah.
It's something
Did
going
John Williams
on.
do the theme? You know what I thought was underrated too? The start screen. I don't know why this sticks out to me so much, but the start screen of The Outer Worlds,
bro,
is like amazing. Hi.
How you doing? Fallout 4 and Outer Worlds.
They're really
Yes.
good.
Classics.
It's a huge. It's 50% of the experience. Like you're observing and you're hearing and you're taking that in. No question. Like the score is hugely complimentary to it. I think, The Last of Us is interesting though because the score is like a lot more subtle. Like it doesn't bombastically play constantly, but I still think it's, it sets the mood and
I've learned about you, Cog, though, and just following you on social media, and it's like I always see your gym pictures, and you always have like a soundtrack from a game playing, and so I've learned that you're like a big fan of game scores through that.
Big time. Yeah, if it resonates with me, a lot of times I remember exactly what I was doing during that part of the song, and that's inspiration. And do cardio to get through a tough time. Sometimes like beating a boss or remember the boss theme or anything like that. Yeah. Video game music is super important to me. So yeah,
Dude, BioShock, all the old like Somewhere Under the Sea, like being like in the violin instrumental and like just going down the rafter. It's so hugely important.
Everything you guys are saying describes some of the greatest games ever, like Persona 4, 5, Nier Automata. Just saying.
Talk that talk.
The Persona 4 soundtrack, I haven't played 5 yet, but the 4 soundtrack is, I listen to like half of it when I work out. It's in I have a master playlist which is all my music, so it'll be like rap metal, and then it'll be like, a country song, and then like a Persona song will come on. And then, and then like hardcore.
It's just everything.
Yeah, it's everything. I just add everything to
I have one Spotify playlist, and it's called Every Song I've Ever Even Remotely Enjoyed. It's a mess.
It is, and sometimes I'm like really in it. Like when I'm working out, sometimes I like put myself in a position where like I'm not going to skip any songs. So like whatever just comes on next, and it'll be like a song from Hamilton. Yeah. Or then like just all this weird. And then sometimes Micah says actually she knows when I'm bored working out because I just start skipping everything.
Yeah.
Until I get to like the one song 50 into that.
Gears of War music, Weird Al, Rage Against the Machine, clusterfuck.
All right, let's go to the next one. We have someone, Emma? Excellent. This will be the last one.
Oh, okay.
A little pressure? A little pressure?
No pressure. The only girl that got to speak on the mic. But
I'm sorry.
Wow. Just calling you out a little bit.
Oh, it's actually kind of my fault. I guess I am the one choosing.
Okay, but there's actually 2 parts. First question is, would you be willing to share a joint? Not like that. Not like that.
Well, no, I appreciate it, but I am trying to just see if I go.
Well, I'll help you get rid of that stash. I'm kidding. Okay.
Thank you.
Second part, though, not necessarily a question. It was back when Chris brought up The Last of Us, and he called it overrated, and I kind of agree because I actually didn't play it. I watched my boyfriend play it, and he's actually the reason I'm here, is because we played the game. I watched him play the game and everything, and I really did enjoy it, but I did fall asleep during it. And I just really appreciate that he kept me into like Sacred Symbols and now Last Stand, and sorry.
No, it's all good.
The other thing is, he had said in one of your shows that some guy had brought his girlfriend and she hated it. And I just wanted to say that it's the complete opposite. I love listening to you guys whenever I only listen when he's listening, of course.
Thank you.
But also, one of my newer tattoos is of Danganronpa. Got
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, look at that.
Dang it. Love it.
I love that.
I had never
That's
heard of the
Danganronpa,
game
sister?
or even played it until he said that you guys were
Oh,
talking
Maddie
about
gonna
it.
go crazy.
He wanted to get into it.
Where
Now
Maddie
we've
at?
played all the games, watched
Better
all
watch
the
this,
show,
bro.
and I went and got a tattoo if that says anything. So I just want to thank you guys for giving us great content. So
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
We couldn't have planted that one any better. All right, so how many minutes we have?
I'm sorry?
How much time? Wait, just a couple minutes? Nope. No time. All right, well, I just wanted to say something real quick to you guys. First of all, thank you guys for being here, and thanks everyone at the venue. The internet's a really negative place, right? I know it is. That's why I stopped using social media except for to promote things. I find our community to be exceptional, and people notice it. The most recent person that's kind of joined our family in some ways is Gene Park, and he has, from the Washington Post, and he has nothing but, he's amazed by how kind you guys are, how decent and good you guys are, and I see it. I worked at the biggest video game website in the world, horrible community. I worked, there's just so much negativity and toxicity, and you kind of just bear it. But that doesn't exist in our community, and I really appreciate it. And I especially appreciate that all of you roll with us knowing what it might mean for you in the various communities that you're in, because I know that we have an unfair portrayal out there with a lot of people. It's getting better and better, of course. And I just want to let you know, we're kicking the fucking shit out of our competitors. And that's all thanks to you. One important thing I want you guys to note is that each and every one of you are important to us, and we appreciate your support, whether you're here, whether you're a patron, or you listen for free. We have a small community, but it's dynamic, and people with 1 million YouTube subscribers would trade that for this any day of the week, and that's not lost on me. And one of the important things I told our VIPs that I want to tell you guys too is one of the important things we want to do when we all meet together is I hope you guys get a chance to meet each other. You're on Discord, you see each other. I hope you guys make friends and enjoy that aspect of it too. Be with each other. So I want to thank you guys. You guys are awesome, and we appreciate you very much. And thank you for giving us that awesome Texas welcome. We couldn't do it without you. All right, that's it. Okay. Thanks, guys. We appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, hey, Micah. Is Micah still in here?
No, she's gone, I think.
Okay.
What's going on?
Well, I want her to come up and take a picture with us. Jack, would you mind to get a picture of the crew with the audience? Are you here?
Yeah, do you guys mind staying for just 1 second? Yes. All right, so
You guys get the best view in the house now.
So we're all getting done? Okay. And we're waiting on...
Oh! Hey!
Oh, that's it. Woo! Oh, wait. All right, so are we all getting down so that we can see the crowd?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool.
All right, on 3, let me get a stand down. I feel like we haven't said that enough.
Yeah.
On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Stand down.
All right, thank you guys. Awesome. Thank you guys. Be safe. Appreciate you. Thank you.
guys.